And welcome back to another great night here on the Freedom Revolution Network. This is Clarity After Dark. I am your host, Scarlet Anonymous. I have my co-host, Red Gypsy, and Dwayne here with me tonight. We're going to have a good show, everybody. We've got lots to talk about. Hello, Pam. How are you doing tonight? Let me pull up the chat myself. What's up, TLO?
Bro, this is weird that I'm using this new mobile thing because I logged in from the StreamYards on my phone. I figured out how to do it. And now I can see all the banners, brands, and all. I'm like, wow, this is weird.
You can do everything now mobile. So it's like game changing for when we're like on scene anywhere or like, you know, going live. Like it's going to be perfect. Wow. What's up, TLO? Where you at? Where you at, TLO?
What's up, TLO?
Where you at? It's a party. So we're here all tonight together. And so now that we've got a more mobile-friendly platform, we can all be here together. So that's exciting for tonight, right?
Bro, we need to send TLO the login stuff.
Yeah. So that way he can join us too. Because now it's actually mobile-friendly. Like, yeah, you could log on before, kind of, sort of. But now you can, like, control all the things. Like, you could copy, I guess, from that message I send you and send it to him so he can join the studio.
I mean,
Yes, you can. From Messenger. You can copy it and then send it in a text. Yes, you can.
I just got to make sure I don't get kicked out of StreamYards.
It doesn't matter. You can do it quick and you just got to hit the browser back as long as you don't exit out of the browser. That's the biggest part when you're like, you can't like look at anything else when you're on, like, or else it'll kick you out when you're on mobile. So, but I'm excited. So I'm glad everybody's here with us tonight. We're going to have a good show. We're going to talk about a few different topics tonight that are kind of happening, I guess, and things that are a little bit concerning. You know, as you all know, we've been here since the beginning of COVID-19, right?
Oh, Lord.
Being here reporting on it first before anybody else. So what's important about those stories, as well as we have some news out of Minneapolis tonight. We've got seismicity news. We had some big, large earthquakes this week. That's something to talk about. Are we going to see more of that? There's been a lot of severe weather. I've got a really interesting phenomenon that I keep seeing happening, right, G? Right. Everybody, okay, so I don't know if it's just the time of year or what, but they usually say like double rainbows are rare, right? Well, lately, in like the past 2 weeks, everywhere in the world's been having like double rainbows, right? And I just feel like there's something going on with that. What up, TLO? Look, see?
Good evening, all.
Whoa, it works.
It does work. Yeah, like I said, it's actually mobile friendly now. They said this was their number one most requested feature was to basically have it be mobile friendly. And we can truly say now it is, because Red's able to go live. So everybody make sure on Sunday to tune into Journey into Freedom, because Red will be here and she can control everything and see your comments and share and more. So that'll be really exciting. Right?
Sorry, I'm antagonizing my girlfriend while I'm doing this.
Please do not. Do not ruin my show, Dwayne. Thumbs up. Is that a thumbs up? Thumbs up from Red. Is that not Red's song? Is that your child's song? So, it's an exciting night. So we're going to talk about a few things though. So one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, which, you know, is what it is. Minneapolis, I guess today, voted in the city charter to change some of, basically abolish the police. Okay. That was the headline. And then, right, which, okay. All right. But it has to go to the voters in November. So the city charter doesn't necessarily change the law. So they will have to go to the votes in November for the people, right? But here are some of the changes that they want to implement, right? Okay. Is everybody ready for this? I don't think everybody's ready for this. So, A, Department of Community Safety and Violence Prevention. The City Council must establish, maintain, and adequately fund and consistently engage the public about a Department of Community Safety and Violence Prevention, which will have responsibility for public safety services, prioritizing a holistic public health-oriented approach. Okay. 1. Director of Community Safety and Violence Prevention Department. The mayor nominates and the city council appoints a director of the Community Safety Violence Prevention under Section 8.4b. Individuals eligible to be appointed as director will have non-law enforcement experience. Okay. So what the hell does that mean, right?
Non-law enforcement experience?
Non-law enforcement experience. And in community safety services and or restorative justice approaches. B, Division of Law Enforcement Services. The council may maintain a division of law enforcement services composed of licensed peace officers subject to the supervision of the Department of Community Safety and Violence Prevention. So you're going to have a group of people, the police, who have to answer to a group that aren't police and have no training in law enforcement. Okay. Then
that's how you took that?
Yeah, that's how I took that. That's what it means. Subject to the supervision of the Department of Community Safety and Violence Prevention, and we just explained what that person was in the 2 paragraphs before that, which the Department of Community Safety
and
and Violence Prevention.
This is like you're trying to go back to like this is like trying to go back to Doc Holliday days and like.
Well, what it sounds like to me is there's going to be like social workers and people telling the police. Okay, we got to mute that because we're talking about something serious. We don't got time. Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I do. Okay, and then
Doc Holliday tombstone shit right here.
Okay, but then we move on. Okay, we continue. Division of Law Enforcement Services. The council may maintain a division of law enforcement services composed of licensed peace officers. Director of Law Enforcement and Services Division. The director of the Department of Community Safety and Violence Prevention shall appoint the director of the Division of Law Enforcement Services, subject to confirmation by official act of the city council or mayor. So you're just telling me that you just put one more person in between the police and the city, and that person is going to continue?
Yeah, and it's Wyatt Earp, apparently.
Right. And then they say, public safety. And I don't like that. They also say public health. Now, public health is a word that we know well in a lot of language of bills that we've paid attention to in the past, right? So that makes me concerned. Because what does that mean? Who are these people going to be? How do they choose these people? I just feel like it's one more step of cronyism that isn't going to necessarily help the situation. I don't know. What do you think, Tilo?
You're correct in that. They'll probably appoint some sort of do funny from Harvard.
Yeah, or some bullshit that we don't even need.
He thinks that he knows something about like people or some sort of bullshit, and yeah, that part I'm not too hip on when I read that.
That's how I felt, because and then they want to get rid of the fire police too. Like, why?
Yeah, that definitely seems problematic.
What does that have to do with, like, they could help secure a scene or assist,
Exactly.
just multifaceted, like, what the hell?
There's also just the ability to respond to emergency situations, just first response sort of deals, not necessarily any sort of policing or, security or anything like that. Just making sure people are okay. It also does leave the door open with that wording that they could appoint one of these do funny medical people too, like a health.
What public health officers do.
Yeah, and that definitely would be problematic.
How come can you change your little like logo to?
I'm trying.
I know. Can you add it to your photo?
She doesn't like you looking like someone else.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm
I
trying to
just
change
looked over
it.
and I was tripping out because then what if I'd be like Dwayne, and then it's red. Like no.
Well, I suppose that's the ultimate cover.
True. That's sneaky. I watched this video the other day, speaking of, where this class of kids was doing like Zoom tricks on their teacher, like dancing and like hiding out of the screen and like getting up and walking away and like all this crazy shit. It was amazing.
That does sound amusing.
It
Probably
was.
not too much for the teacher,
The
but
teacher was not amused, but
Nope.
they did some work though. They all changed their screen to make it look like the DVD video screen going across the teacher's screen. Like that took some work and some ingenuity to be like, okay, Susie, okay, Bobby, you're gonna have this piece, because we know where we sit in Zoom class together.
the thing about it isn't necessarily ingenuity. It's just that these kids are on TikTok all day because
Yep.
they ain't got shit to do, and they're able to figure it all out. It's shit that any one of us could do.
Oh yeah, but it's just
It's
good.
just
Like there's
they
kids
they
in the
figured
class
it out.
and they're trying to do it. How you not
Yeah.
take over the screen, G? That was rude.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm trying to change this logo.
I know. Maybe you can go to. I don't know how to do it on mobile because I know that mine just adds like. Maybe go to.
Mine asks if it wants photos uploaded, so you can change it that way.
Okay,
I just use my Google.
right. Yeah. Yeah. She. I know she could use something. So.
But yeah, no, the intent behind the law is somewhat there, but
I get
once
where they're
again,
going, but it's
carrying
only
it
one
out is
layer.
big.
There's only one layer. Where is like a council of people to
Well, that's what I would have voted for or
like a
had.
coalition group of people? Like,
Yeah,
okay, we're
I
gonna
would have had 5 people from the community.
right. Yeah, from the community, people who are
Yep.
invested, know things about because there's a lot of South Side activists. There's a
Correct.
lot of North Side activists that would be willing to get involved with this to say, hey, this is what we need in our neighborhoods from the police. And
Oh,
this
I'd
is
be on
what
that
we
council.
can come to the table with our people too. Because there's going to have to be, well, if we get the police to do this, we'll get the people to do this. Because there can't be any in between, right? There has
Right.
to be some sense of, changing that.
Yes,
You know?
and that's the aspect that the law enforcement at present fears.
Right. Right. That people would actually come in and then critique what they're doing. Because
Correct.
I think that they should have to have maybe somebody ride along with them. So that somebody's actually watching them.
I've always thought that there should be not necessarily cops, but also what would a good word or description be?
Or,
Rights and service officer, and it'd be a community appointed person or two, and have them be like their own sort of officers or institution, but by the community and appointed by the community, whatnot. And they would also be called to the scene as well. They'd be like their own sort of force. Because I could see logistically how riding along would possibly be complicated.
right.
I don't know how I did that.
What'd you do, Drew?
I don't know how I just did this.
Well, you got something, and it's not
Right.
good. So I feel like it's cool. You could be the Cheshire Cat.
What does it say underneath me?
We're all mad here.
Okay, I'm fine with this.
Okay, yeah. That's what it says, Jay. So you're good. Like I said, I'm good with that. It's not Dwayne's face because I was like, Dwayne.
No, Dwayne just said he had to leave, getting yelled at by both sides.
Yeah, his girlfriend's there this week, so I could see that happening. So, continuing on, other things that happened in the news this week that I was going to talk about. Allergist said Saharan dust could cause allergy symptoms similar to COVID-19. Okay. So we spoke with the allergist about how the symptoms, it could be mistaken for COVID-19. Your eyes get itchy, said Stephen Foster, who suffers from allergies. In a normal day in San Antonio, my nose is generally not running as much as it's stuffed, so I have to breathe through my mouth. Those suffering from allergies are bracing themselves for Saharan dust blowing into our area. The further the dust travels, the less dense it is. Those like Foster or Letty said they were not looking forward to the Saharan dust, which is now making the 1,000-mile-plus trek into the Gulf of Mexico. It's just been, you can feel fluish, you can have increased coughing, you can have chest congestion, and those could often be signs confused with COVID-19. Dr. Diaz said the dust will not put you at a high risk for contracting COVID-19, but if you do have the novel coronavirus, it could make things worse. If you do have the COVID infection and then on top of that, you're exposed to the dust, absolutely there's a possibility it can make those symptoms worse, Diaz told us. Both Letty and Foster are currently dealing with allergy symptoms, which they know worry others during the pandemic. Anytime I do cough or sneeze or anything like that, I get a nasty glance, Letty said. Steven says it may be yet another reason to stay home in 2020. I think it's a good reason to just stay home, stay away from COVID-19, stay away from the Saharan dust. Allergists also recommend you stay at home to avoid the Saharan dust, while others like Letty say it won't change their routine. Illnesses, allergies are going to continue to happen, and you just have to really learn how to manage it and figure out what works for everybody, Letty said. Allergists recommend you monitor your symptoms over the next week, as some can resemble COVID-19. They also remind you to wash your hands frequently and use a mask, as it can help you from stop inhaling the dust. That's what they say. So we'll see. Hello, Bonnie. How are you? Hi, Bonnie. So, also, there was an interesting executive order from the president on strengthening the child welfare system for America's children. Did you hear about that, G?
No.
Okay, so of course, here.
I saw that.
Dude, you know I'd be working like mad crazy.
I know. Bonnie says hello to everyone, everybody.
Yes. Hello, Bonnie.
Hello.
Hello, Bonnie, my old friend.
Yes. Get it, Red. Okay, so
Come to talk to us again.
Right? Exactly.
We appreciate you, Bonnie.
We do. We always do. So the president said, by the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1, purpose. Every child deserves a family. Our states and communities have both the legal obligation and the privilege to care for our nation's most vulnerable children. The best foster care system is one that is not needed in the first place. My administration has been focused on prevention strategies that keep children safe while strengthening families so that children do not enter foster care. Last year, and for the only time since 2011, the number of children in the foster care system declined. And for the third year in a row, the number of children entering foster care has declined. But challenges remain. Too many young people who are in a foster care system wait years before finding the permanency of a family. More than 400,000 children are currently in foster care. Of those, more than 124,000 children are waiting for adoption, with nearly 6 out of 10 are already become legally eligible for adoption. More than 50% of the children waiting for adoption have been in foster care without security and consistency of, and it says constancy, but I'm sure he meant consistency, of a permanent family for 2 years or more. The need for stability and timely permanency is particularly acute for children 9 years and older, children in sibling groups, and those with intellectual or physical disabilities. Even worse, too many young men and women age out of foster care, never having found a permanent, stable family. In recent years, approximately 20,000 young people have aged out of foster care each year in the United States. Researchers have shown that young people who age out of the foster care system are likely to experience significant and significantly increased life challenges. 40% of such young people studied experienced homelessness. 50% were unemployed by age 24, 25% experienced PTSD, and 71% became pregnant by age 21. These are unacceptable outcomes. Several factors have contributed to the number of children who wait in foster care for extended periods. First, state, local, and child welfare agencies often do not have robust partnerships with private community organizations, including faith-based organizations. Second, those who step up to be resource families and children in foster care, including kin, guardians, foster parents, and adoptive parents, may lack adequate support. Third, too often the processes and systems meant to help children and families in crisis have been created bureaucratic barriers and make it more difficult for these children and families to get the help they need. It is the goal of, oh, I didn't know that, Pam. Oh, wow. This is interesting. So you have to tell us how you feel about this executive order after we get done reading it. It is the goal of the United States to promote a child welfare system that reduces the need to place children into foster care, achieves safe permanency for those children who must come into foster care, and does more so quickly and more effectively. Places appropriate focus on children who are waiting for adoption, and especially those who are 9 years old in sibling groups have disabilities, and it decreases the proportion of young adults who age out of the foster care system. Children from all backgrounds have the potential to become successful and thriving adults. Yet without a committed, loving family that can provide encouragement, stability, and a lifelong connection, some children may never receive the support needed to realize that potential. This order was to help empower families who answer the call to open their hearts and homes to children who need them. My administration is committed to helping give as many children as possible the stability and support that a family provides by dramatically improving our child welfare system. Section 2. Encouraging robust partnerships between state agencies, public, private, faith-based, and community organizations. And in order to facilitate close partnerships between state agencies and non-governmental organizations, including public, private, faith-based, and community groups, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, the Secretary, quotes, shall provide increased public access to accurate, up-to-date information relevant to the strengthening child welfare system, including by 1. Publishing data to aid the recruitment of community support within 1 year of the date of this order, and each year thereafter, the Secretary shall submit to the President through the Assistant to the President for Domestic Policy a report that provides information about typical patterns of entry, recent available counts of children in foster care, and counts of children waiting for adoption. To the extent appropriate and consistent with applicable law, including all privacy laws, this data will be disaggregated by the county or other sub-state level, child age, placement type, and prior time in care. 2. Collecting needed data to preserve sibling connections. A. Within 2 years of the date of this order, Secretary shall collect information from the appropriate state and local agencies on the number of children in foster care who have siblings and who are not currently placed with their siblings. Within 3 years of this date, to support the goal of keeping siblings together, U.S. Title Code 42, 671A31A, the Secretary shall develop data analysis methods to report on the experience of children entering in sibling groups and the extent to which they are placed together. The Secretary's analysis shall also assess the extent to which siblings who are legally eligible for adoption achieve permanency together. 3. Expanding the number of homes for children in youth. Within 2 years, the Secretary shall develop a more rigorous, systematic approach to collecting state administrative data as part of the Child and Family Services Review, as required by Section 1123A of the Social Security Act, U.S. Title Code 320A-2A, and collected and shall include demographic information for children in foster care and waiting for adoption, the number of currently available foster families and their demographic information, the average foster parent retention rate, and average length of time foster parents remain certified. A target number of foster homes needed to meet the needs of children in foster care, and the average length of time it takes to complete foster and adoptive home certification. The Secretary shall ensure, to the extent consistent with applicable law, that states report to the Secretary regarding strategies for coordinating non-governmental organizations, including faith-based community organizations, to recruit and support foster families and adoptive families. Within 1 year of the date, the order shall issue guidance to federal, state, and local agencies partnering with non-governmental organizations. This guidance shall include best practices for information sharing, provide needed services to families to support prevention of children entering foster care, family preservation, foster and adoptive home recruitment and retention, respite care, post-placement family support, and support for older youth. This guidance shall also make it clear that faith-based organizations are eligible for partnerships under Title Title 4E of the Act of 42, Title U.S. Code 670 ET Esquire on an equal basis, consistent with the First Amendment to the Constitution. Removing access to adequate resources for caregiver and use. While many public, private, faith-based, and community resources and other sources of support exist, many American caregivers still lack connections with and access to adequate resources. Within 1 year of the date, the Secretary shall equip caregivers and those in care to meet their unique challenges, including expanding educational options to the extent practical. The Secretary shall use existing technical assistance to promote the dissemination of state of implementation of national training development curriculum, including, when appropriate, non-classroom environments, increasing the availability of trauma-informed training. The Secretary shall provide an enhanced web-based learning management platform to house the information generated by the National Adoption Competency Mental Health Training Initiative. Access to this web-based training for all materials will be provided free of charge for all child welfare and mental health practitioners. Supporting guardianship, the Secretary shall provide information to states regarding the importance and availability of funds to increase guardianships through the Title 4E Guardianship Assistance Program, which provides federal reimbursement to payments to guardians for associated administrative costs. This information shall include which states have already opted into the program. Enhancing support for kinship care and youth exiting foster care. The Secretary shall establish a plan to address barriers to existing federal assistance benefits for eligible individuals, ensuring equality of treatment and access for all families. As amended, prohibits agencies from denying any person the opportunity to become an adoptive or foster parent on the basis of race, color, national origin. Prohibits agencies from delaying or denying the placement of the child for adoption or into foster care on the basis of race, color, or national origin, and requires agencies to diligently recruit a diverse base of foster and adoptive parents to better reflect the racial and ethnic makeup of children in out-of-home care. To further the goals of the Multi-Ethnic Placement Act, the Secretary shall, within 6 months of the date of this order, initiate a study regarding the implementation of these requirements nationwide. Within 1 year of the date of this order, upon guidance as necessary regarding the implementation of the Multi-Ethnic Placement Act. And with 1 year of the date of this order, publish guidance regarding the rights of parents, prospective parents, and children with disabilities, including intellectual, developmental, or physical disabilities. Improving processes to prevent unnecessary removal and secure permanency for children. A federal review of reasonable effort determinations and timeliness requirements. Reasonable efforts, and you have to assess that the following requirements are reasonable efforts to prevent removal, filing a petition for termination of parental rights within established statutory timelines, and court processing of such petition unless statutory exemptions apply. Reasonable efforts to finalize permanency plans and completion of relevant required family search and notifications how such efforts are reviewed by courts. In cases which it's determined that statutory required timelines and efforts have not been satisfied, the Secretary shall make use of existing authority in making eligibility determinations and disallowances consistent with Section 1123 AB 34 of the Act 42 U.S. Title Code 1320A-2A B34. Within 2 years, the Secretary shall develop metrics to track permanency outcomes in each state and measure state performance over time. Risk and safety assessments also need to be done under the Child Abuse Prevention Treatment Act. Also, how to address domestic violence and substance abuse. So that's pretty much it. But so supposedly he's going to hopefully change something. I don't know. But it sounds good, though. I think it is important to know how many children we have in foster care. I don't know if it'll really change things. Yeah, and that's crazy, Pam. But you know what? You got to do what you got to do. You knew that you had to go, and I hope that there, and there isn't support for these people. I've met a lot of people who have had to go through a lot of different situations that are very unpleasant in that realm. And so I would hope that things would change. Now, I don't know what people can really do, but if they're going to really try to focus on making sure people have families and try to prevent, kids from even being taken in the first place, well, that's a good first step. Just saying. So that was that.
Sure. And Bonnie, you said that you love that. I assume you were talking about the Bonnie song, and then you said that you love you all, we love you too.
Yes. We do. That's true. And we love you too,
Yes.
Pam. We're glad you're here with us.
Yes.
You were smart and you got out, so that was wonderful. Also today, I saw an article that said Biden would use his federal power to require Americans to wear masks in public.
Saw that as well.
Did you see that, Yellow? I was just like,
Yes,
no.
You can take this for whatever it's worth, but Biden can suck my big toe.
Right? Like, seriously, though, like,
There'd be a lot of people that would say that as well.
I just feel like, why would you even go there? Why would you even go there? If
Because he's a major player of abuse of power and the New World Order. Duh.
True, but Jay Inslee this past week, a reporter asked, "So, Governor Inslee, why aren't you wearing a mask?" And he says, "You know what? I'm not wearing a mask because the First Amendment."
You know what? Has anybody watched the Epstein thing on Netflix yet?
No, I should
No.
watch that.
I've gotten through like half of episode 1. It's quite interesting to even.
No. Yes, no.
It's quite interesting
What
to
the hell?
even like it.
Why didn't I?
Whoa, Scarlet, you changed yourself to Dwayne.
I don't know how that even happened. This is irritating my soul.
Okay, I know. Hold on. Can I fix you? Let me see if I can fix you.
If you can fix me, fix it, because that's not cool.
Hold on. I'm gonna see. No, it won't let me. Okay, so this is what you gotta do.
What I gotta do?
You gotta go to guest at the bottom.
Okay.
Click on your name,
Yeah.
your little box, Scarlet.
Edit audio avatar. There we go.
Yep. There you go.
Got it. Okay, I'll be right back. Continue. Go ahead, G.
I've missed you too, Bonnie. And yeah, see, Bonnie says that if they don't wear their mask, they get $1,000 misdemeanor. What? You better get out of here with that shit right now. Like, that is illegal in so many ways. I will find so many ways to fight that. I would take it all the way to the highest court system. I don't even care anymore. Fuck this shit. This is stupid. They are completely, and I said this when they started it, it's like wolves. Once they get their teeth in, they're not going to release the power that they have.
I agree.
They're just going to continue to take more bites until we die. It's what I would do. So I could think nothing less from them. You know, I've got a coworker that just went to Texas, just flew to Texas for her grandkid's first birthday, and now with everything that just happened, I'm like, hey, wait, is she gonna be able to come back?
Maybe, maybe not.
Because they're talking about only essential travel, but I mean, I guess traveling home is.
Well, but technically she's an essential worker here in Colorado.
That's true.
So they may have to let her.
Good point. Good point. I was just starving. I had to get something. It was just killing me. You just sit here sometimes and you're like, yeah, I could really use a snack. So that's what I did. It was very tasty. So,
I had to stop myself. I ate like way over half of my freaking New York cheesecake and only meant to eat like half.
I was gonna get cheesecake too, but all they had was plain or caramel sauce, and that does not rock my boat.
Yeah, I don't know what they topped the New York cheesecake cobblestone with. It's delightful.
Right.
And then that with my coffee water is freaking amazing.
Oh yeah, that sounds tasty. I had wings tonight. They were very good.
And I'm not making fun of water or coffee, people. It's literally coffee water.
I mean, yeah, it's good.
I have the Circle. I just got in the iced coffee sip, and it's mocha iced coffee, and it really tastes like a mocha iced coffee. It's freaking delightful.
That sounds delightful.
I have liked all the sips thus far, except for I didn't like the pineapple.
$1,000 misdemeanor. Where is Jay Inslee's $1,000 misdemeanor?
Yeah, I brought this up a few minutes ago about this.
Hold on.
Well, he was responding to the
Yeah, I'm
Bonnie.
responding to Bonnie. Hold on. Where's Jay Inslee's shit? Because he sure said that this week. Hold on. And I quote. I posted this, so hold on. I will find said quote. Bonnie probably saw it this week. I'm sure she did. It was either last night or today or what? Hold on. Let me find it. I have the I quote. Oh, come on. Leave me alone. I'm glad to see everyone wearing a mask. The only reason I'm not wearing a mask is because of the First Amendment, Jay Inslee. Like, are you serious? Like, the audacity. But you, as a citizen, can get $1,000 fine. How does that make sense? You know, this is just like draconian tactics.
sheer fucking hubris.
Right? It is. He announced on Wednesday that it started today, is what Bonnie said. That's bullshit. Okay? Giving people like 2 days notice. Oh, now you wear masks or have $1,000 fine. What kind of shit is that?
Yeah, for real.
For real though. Like for people who haven't
Pussy shit.
Weak-minded shit.
Coward shit.
How are you gonna say I'm not wearing one because of the First Amendment and then make everybody else wear one and give them a misdemeanor otherwise?
Here's one for you. Traitor.
Traitor. You know who else is a traitor? Jared Polis.
Oh, yeah, I've been saying that, honey.
Oh, yes, but today he becomes a traitor for very good reasons. This is my segue. Oh, you like my segue, G? Here's my segue. Today, Colorado put into law their new Vaccination Re-Education Act is what I'm going to call it, okay? So that no longer do religious exemptions apply in the state of Colorado. If you want a vaccine exemption, you must go to a doctor that will sign off on it, and you must attend a re-education course about vaccines.
I will fight that. I will fight that to the death.
And they know people will.
They know. That's why they're
And I am backed up. Not only, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to make it very plain because it seems like you have to be making shit very plain lately, okay?
Right.
But bottom fucking line is that I am backed up not only by our federal constitution, but by our state constitution in the fact that you have no right to step into my religious anything.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the whole thing. Now you're violating my federal and my quote unquote God-given rights by the founding fathers to come in on religious choices, and that's a big issue. You just basically told every person who's religious or has a religious exemption, fuck you. That's really what they just said, because that's a war on religion. right? And so
Yep.
it is like Mark's history education courses, Bonnie. It's exactly what it is. That is their purpose. Remember, this is a place that is ran by Democrats. Jared Polis is a Democrat. Kyle Mullica, he said this is a great day for parents. This is a great day for our kids. No. This is the darkest day in history that you have taken away choice. You have taken away choice. Do you know how many people will leave Colorado now? Do you know how many people are going to leave? Lots.
I don't know if people are gonna leave or if they're just gonna start standing up.
People I've already talked to are saying they're leaving Colorado. They don't know what to do. They're just gonna leave.
Yeah, no.
Because people didn't fight to begin with. That's the whole thing.
Right.
We've been saying for years that we have to stand up to a higher level than what we've seen in activism to actually make a difference, right? And so if we don't do that, we're not going to get the results or have it be as effective as we want it to be. And so, you know that, Red. We've talked about this for too long, that we need the people to get riled up. We need the people to get just as angry as we are. We need them to understand what's at stake at the time and place. And they're not getting it. They're just not getting it, unfortunately. And we got to do something to change that. We have to do something to change that. And I don't know what that's going to do. But something's got to go. Because it just can't exist as this goes right now.
Right.
Just no way. What else do we want to talk about? That was something I wanted to talk about, though, because Mullica and Polis are garbage. So that needs to be talked about. What else was happening? Oh, there were quite a few large earthquakes this week that I thought were kind of a big deal. We had, the 7 points in Mexico, and then, California had a pretty large earthquake. We're going to start, I think, seeing some increased activity just because of the front side alignment. And I'm really happy for Laura Wells because now Paul Begley has picked up her program and realized that she's been following him for all these years. And so now she's actually being featured on there the other day. I was really excited to hear her video on his program. So shout out to Pastor Paul Begley and Laura Wells because I think that's great. And we're going to eventually get Laura on once she gets over her shyness because she said that's the reason why she can't come. Because I've asked her. I was like, will you just come on and talk about these earth changes and things that you follow and some of your predictions that you have? And she's like, I'm just shy. So we'll definitely eventually get that happening. But like I said, you can definitely check her out, Laura Wells, Astronomy and News on YouTube. And then, like I said, Pastor Paul Begley is also following her now, which is pretty cool. I definitely think it's exciting when you see people kind of hook up together. So we're going to see what happens. Like I said, we're going into the front side alignment of the Earth right now. This time until like the beginning of September, we're going to see potentially increases in activity for seismicity and volcano activity. Yeah, see? Bonnie knows about Laura. See, she's lovely. Yes, that's what I mean. I'm a libertarian too, so it's getting like we do have a really strong group of libertarians here, though, who are helping the conversation of what needs to happen, especially in police reform. And a lot of liberty people aren't going to allow those rights being taken away, and there is a lot of us. There's not a small group. There's hundreds, and all of us are into activism. So I don't think it's going to be that hard. Where I don't know many places that have that many liberty-minded folks together, right? So at least we know each other, we know our people, and we can try to, branch out our, talents. But it's really getting hard to live anywhere. I mean, where is it coming up with these crazy draconian laws?
Right.
I mean, honestly, where is it? Where isn't, or where aren't we seeing these things happening?
Right. Where are we, quote unquote, safe?
I don't think anywhere is safe. at this point,
That's the point.
right? Ooh, headlamp red. Headlamp red. Is that red?
Sorry, it's all I can do, man.
It's cool. We can still see you. Like, kind of.
I-
I mean, I know what you look like, so I know where you are.
She's like, I know what you look like.
I do.
But the viewers might not.
Viewers might not. If you're new here or if you're watching the replay, you're going to be like, who is this crazy lady? This is Red.
With the headlamp on.
Right. Headlamp Red. Red lives off grid. So headlamps are a necessity. That's real. Yeah. Can you hang it from like the ceiling? There you go, G. Getting it.
Yeah, from the visor or the vanity.
Right? Or those
Oh no, it's the visor because I'm in the truck.
Oh,
Gotcha.
yeah. Yep.
I'm not even conveniently in my awesome studio car anymore
I know.
because the fuel pump went out, they said.
That's
We've
okay.
been waiting on the fuel pump. Fuel pump came in. Now we got to put it in, which shouldn't affect me doing my show and stuff in my car. But it does because they decided to take my battery out while they were waiting. And who knows what the hell they've done with that.
Right. Well,
The struggle is real on the homestead, people. Like,
yeah,
real.
I'm just excited that you will be able to run the show by yourself. That is an accomplishment of its own. Shout out again to StreamYard for that because y'all was on point on this new mobile feature. But guess what? We are going to up that. So remember our dream, TLO, of having our own video platform that's on the website, that's ours, that we broadcast from, right?
Yeah, Bonnie, I know.
I remember you expounding on that quite a few times.
Right. Okay. So, are you ready for this? So, like I had said, like I had told you the other night when you and I talked, right, about this new group. And it's called Pause, and we just got some information, about them, and it's called Pause Global, a collective of talent brought together to support effective nonviolent campaigns for ecologic and social justice, but not as you think. They don't take cause to any one cause. They support other groups, and it's an intensive composite 2-day course, and it's a seminar to build enhanced peace warriors out of current campaigners, civil projecteers, activists, young and old. We're happy to bring new activists and veterans together to provide tools in communication and teamwork, build something all the more effective with the current active communities around the world. Our successes in California speak for themselves, and we're excited to meet various groups immersing in cultures and arriving in new political arenas, ready to showcase our aptitude in social development, team building, and application of nonviolent tactics into organized theater and our creativity.
No.
What?
Sorry, not you. I was answering Pam. She's like, she usually does her show in-house. No, I usually do it for my car.
Yeah, she usually does. Oh, yeah, Bonnie answered you too about the question, Pam. She's waiting for parts. Cars broke down. So they're really cool people, and so it's an education thing with no agendas, right? It's totally free. You go there, you learn about things, you bring it back to your group. So for instance, like here for Freedom Revolution, for what we want to do, let's say, Freedom Revolution wanted to be there for something, or you or I wanted to create our own protest, they would be there to support us with levels of support and knowledge, but they wouldn't be organizing it. Or you would go out there and go to the seminar and then take that back to your group and then use those things, right? So it's a cool group, and so we're excited for that. They've worked with, some of the people who've taken down Monsanto and other groups, which is really important. So they've got some history in like the right arena, not the weird stuff, not some of these offshoot groups, but they would support those groups. It's really anybody who wants to raise their voice, they're there to help raise it. But the important part about that is we found out that we can get more security on the back end, which is exciting, as well as we're going to have our own built-in video system here pretty soon. That's exciting. So that'll be built into the website. So you'll go to freedomrevolutionnetwork.com and then you'll be able to watch all the shows just from there. So how exciting is that? That's going to be really exciting. So that should be done really soon. New website with updated features will be done soon as well. But I would assume in the next like 2 months or so, maybe 6 months, we'll see that new video platform. Maybe sooner if something were happen because of censorship, but so far so good. I think just adding more security, adding more features is definitely something smart to do.
So I want to go back to that Sahara desert sand.
The dust cloud, yeah, that happens every year.
Okay, listen, I'm pretty sure that we got our freaking stuff today.
Okay, right. Oh,
Like,
from the dust cloud.
Like here in the valley, we had like a 2.5-hour dust storm. It was hellacious, over 40-mile-per-hour winds. It was awful.
That's terrible, right? That's awful. Did you get?
And I've got lightning.
If you even get dust, because it's not like everything down there ain't dusty anyway. So hard to know if you even get dust, extra dust.
I got lightning all on the mountains around me too.
Right now?
Yeah.
Shitty. Let's go look at the radar. Dun, dun, dun. And I always just go to the KSTP interactive radar because you can zoom out and find anything you want. So that's what I do. There's always lightning down there, though. I mean, at this time of year, it's considered monsoon season.
Yes.
Just like there's already sirens in Minneapolis.
Right. Yeah. Like rain. Ooh, there's some juicy storms. I should see if there's any tornado warnings.
Yeah, we're supposed to get some
around the valley. You talking like over the mountains, like on the San Cristo side?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the only place I see even rain is right below like Crestone, which you could see from there.
Yeah. I see it over there, but it's very faint. Where I'm seeing it the most,
actually. Oh, there's a big one on the San Juans. I lied. Okay, there's some. Big
I was gonna say because where I'm seeing it the most right now is out towards Salida, all the way up the range to mid range.
Yeah, it's up in Telluride. And there's
dude, I'm watching this shit play across, and it could even be on the other side of the mountain.
It is, but it's over in Telluride, so that's where the rain is. See, hold on. See the rain, that little green spot that you can't see over by Telluride. So that's the only rain I see. There's a little rain up by Salida, but that's it. But not as big as this one that's gonna come over the mountains. But yeah, I was gonna go check.
It's a pretty good size.
I was gonna go check for sure.
Because I see that distance with that lightning from there to there, man. Oh, you know what? I betcha. Hold on, wait. Can I do this? Let's see.
You can turn the camera around and show us. Yes, you can.
I'm thinking I can.
Yeah, you go to cam on the little cog wheel, and then you go to back, like turn your camera around.
Oh. Nope, that didn't work. I did gotta go settings.
On the bottom, cam light, and then hit that, and then change it around. Because I did it at the full test. That's how I was able to like record all this stuff. Okay, so put us up one more, and then we'll wait to see lightning. Oh, can I make you big? I think I can make you big. Can I make you big? No. How do I do that?
Should be able to.
I should be able to. Oh, I made me big.
Sorry.
Hey. Nope. Okay.
I like the pearl, Scarlet.
You mean too big?
I know. How come I
Wait,
feel
so
too big?
big.
Oh, look. There we go. That's cool. I'll do that.
Yeah. Let's see
No.
how rough my hair looks.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I know. It goes in closer on you, goes farther away. Yeah,
That's all right.
that's cool. You make it work.
My hair
Hold on,
always
guys.
looks
I
That
gotta like-
eyeshadow to my cool unicorn dress. It's my cool.
Okay, let's see if it gets it or not.
Okay, now we can see.
At least I don't have it untamed.
Right. I washed my hair because I gotta go to this photo shoot on Sunday, so I want my
I
hair.
just got home from work, so I didn't have time to wash shit.
I had to. I had to open up with product, and it had been straight all week, so now I gotta like straighten it like tomorrow, and then should be good. Okay. I'm excited about that. Waiting for lightning.
Right.
Oh,
This is a car going by.
Is there actually a car going on? Shocking. Remember that one time that we saw that creepy light? And we were like, where the hell is
You actually go by what?
Did that creepy ass light that disappeared?
Right.
Oh man, I keep missing it because it's jumping around the mountain.
Oh, right.
Okay, I'm just gonna stay here for a minute.
Long pan to go to get everything in, so
Right.
she does. It's real. Because, I mean, it's just like mountains around her.
And lightning is so elusive.
It is elusive.
It's
Well,
like I dare you to
especially
catch me on it.
Mountains are all
Yeah, especially when you're trying to film it.
well, yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
the mountains are all around her, and she's trying to get these mountains over here in the frame. So she's got to go like that to even get it. So I feel her struggle.
Oh, are you serious?
I can't move that one. I gotta do this one. Get myself on
Boom.
section now.
It happens. I miss it. I think it's gonna jump to this side. I stay there, and then it doesn't go there. Ah, that was the good one. Damn it!
Damn it. How are we supposed to have you as a reporter on the scene?
Dude, listen. This is awful shit. This.
I'll be right back.
I was getting really, really good ones right here. And then it's like as soon as I started filming it there, it wasn't there anymore. And now it's going over here. The good ones are over here now. And the like fairly whatever ones are way over here. Not that you can really see anything but total freaking darkness. And as soon as I went over here, of course it happened over here where I'd been sitting for like the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's my luck.
Wow, lots of sirens tonight in the city of fire. I hear dogs howling.
Oh, those are my wolves.
Ah, you have wolves. Nice.
And there's lightning. So they, do their thing.
Right.
I got a female who's digging a den like a crazy mad woman. Like my whole kid fits in it.
Wow. That's some elusive lightning, all right.
I'm wondering if it's just not picking it up too. It's supposed to. I'm supposed to have a really great camera.
Yeah, a lot of times they kind of oversell the cameras on these phones. I'll just tell you that.
That's true. You don't get lightning very often. We get lightning all the time. Man.
Yeah,
We don't really get it.
We get lightning all the time.
Oh, okay.
We can even get lightning in the winter.
Yep.
During a snowstorm.
Yeah, we get the thunder snow, as Jim Cantori coined the phrase. Most often, To be honest, like I would say probably more so than other places.
True.
Just to be honest, because yeah, you are guaranteed to hear it every year. It's not like a once in a while sort of thing. Like, oh, this happened last year in the winter. Like, no, like it'll happen this winter.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that we've been having very
Well, we've been having some very odd moving storms of late.
I wasn't looking to I literally
We're actually supposed to be getting some storms soon, Scarlet.
dirt ticket wings from Buffalo Wild Wings. You know what was my favorite Buffalo Wild Wings flavor that they tried? That it was actually really good, and I wish they would have kept on the menu.
What?
They have Mountain Dew wings,
Mountain Dew wings.
and they were really good. They were.
Mountain Dew wings. Like the original Mountain Dew or something else?
Original Mountain Dew. Oh, we had this Mountain Dew conversation. It wasn't on air, but we did one night when we were on the phone. We sat and talked about all the different kinds of Mountain Dew that they had. But Mountain Dew wings from Buffalo Wild Wings, that was a moment. And it was good because I was scared to order it, right?
Yeah, I would be a little concerned too, but
I wanted to try it, right? Because it was like limited edition. So I was like, I'll try it, right?
right.
Try it, and they were like the best wings. It was like a citrusy kind of but earthy kind of flavor. It kind of changed the whole flavor. Kind of like people make like Dr. Pepper, like pork roasts and stuff. You know, and it totally changed the flavor of that. Yeah,
I could do that.
right. Or how people put like different types of soda and cake, and it changes the flavor. It's kind of like that. And I thought they were great. They were great. But tonight I got salt and vinegar and Jamaican jerk. So those were good.
I take it you go to B-Dubs often?
I do not, actually. I have not ordered it in a long time. Son wanted it, and he wanted wings. He didn't want regular wings, he wanted boneless wings. And that's why I ordered it. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have, because that's not my like typical.
What, wings?
Wings, yes. Buffalo Wild Wings, probably not. Like, I might order wings from like one of my favorite restaurants that I know do wings well, or things like that.
Gotcha.
Right. But I do like Buffalo Wild Wings, but I just feel like, and I asked her if they were eating inside, and Mr. Tire said no. And I was like, I wonder if anybody could eat inside, because some places are choosing not to. But that's concerning. You know, all these Ruby Tuesdays has closed by my house, and that was one of the last Ruby Tuesdays. You know,
a lot more restaurants are going to close. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not going to be good, especially once we start shutting stuff down again.
who's barking?
Oh, rude.
Of course. Ooh, that was a good one, G. I saw that.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I saw that crack away.
It's going all up and down the mountain, but it's like not in a pattern, it just jumps.
Right. That one night that we were there, that lightning bolt came so close to us. That was bullshit. I was not cool with that. Nope.
She said no.
That lightning is too close to you because you're already up in the sky.
Oh, well, I've been
8,000 feet up. So
I've been chased by lightning before, so I know how close it can get.
I bet lemon pepper wings are good. I would eat those. I like lemon pepper.
Lemon peppers are good.
Yeah, because I got some.
I usually do the mango habanero though.
Ooh, that sounds good. I got
it's hot.
the wild sauce.
If you like hot, it's good, but if you don't, it's gonna hurt.
I mean, what is hot? I mean, is it blazing? Like,
oh, it's almost up there to blazing. It's like I think 2 flavors down from blazing, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm okay on that. I'm not like a super big like hot
Oh
chicken.
yeah, I like my stuff hot. When I have
Dude,
sushi,
I'm
I
scared.
ask for
You know what?
extra wasabi.
I'm growing this year ghost peppers.
What?
Ghost peppers.
Yeah, I've had them.
Yeah, they're pretty hot. I don't want to eat them, but I will give them away. Maybe I'll save them for like tinctures or something. That'd be super hot though.
Yeah, that would be super, super hot.
Yeah. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I don't like things like no, it is hot. Oh, Bonnie says like habanero hot.
No, worse.
Yeah. That sauce? I'm sure she was talking about yellow with that sauce.
Yeah.
Go habanero. Yeah. I don't like habanero, but ghost peppers would be hotter than habaneros.
Yes, they are.
They're one of the hottest peppers.
Correct. I think there's
The
2 or 3 more hotter peppers.
Yeah, mine are the Bot Joklia version, so they're the Indian ghost peppers, not even Americanized. So these are just hot, hot. But I'm also growing banana peppers. I'm also growing a few other like hot varieties. So I feel like pretty rounded on the pepper front. I need these damn squirrels. Okay, you guys, like I don't even know what to say about my downstairs garden spot that I showed you guys like on Tim's show. I don't even know what to say about it anymore, y'all. It's some bullshit.
Uh-oh.
Okay, and I'll tell you why. Okay, because these squirrels are fucking tearing my shit up. Okay,
Ah, okay.
and
Well,
I want them to
you're
die.
gonna have to get the nets.
I have a net, and they bit through the motherfucker.
Oh, you're gonna have to get better nets.
Through the motherfucker. I am so mad. Like, how do you bite through a net? Well, look how nice.
Oh, well, they're pretty industrious. But yeah, you have to be kind of persistent because when you have a
Doing
squirrel,
everything. So I don't know what to do. I've been using Repelzol, which is supposed to keep them away, and they don't give a shit. I've
no, they
been
don't.
using. I'm gonna try liquid fence because it has different component mechanisms, but that's the only other thing I can think of. Besides something that I'm not gonna talk about, okay? Because
Right.
we're not going there. But something is going to happen.
Not on air. Not on air.
No, something is going to happen though. There will be a happy resolution. Okay.
Trust me, my mother is the same way with her gardens.
Okay,
If all else fails, something will happen to the squirrels.
like, okay, and they're just tearing everything up though. They've eaten. Okay, so they left my pea plant alone, which is growing.
Yeah, they don't like peas.
Good.
Like,
I'll grow more of them because I'm tired of them. They've eaten my garden beans down to little sticks. Okay.
Yep.
They ate my strawberries. Okay.
Yes.
They won't. They've dug up my gladiolas. Okay, but they don't want them. They dig
Right.
into the bulb and then leave the fucker alone. Okay.
Maybe they just like the bulb.
They don't even eat the bulb. I only have 2. They already ate over.
Well, maybe a long time ago, before the humans walked, there was a great and grand war between the bulbs and the squirrels.
True. I don't know. These bastards need to back up. So I'm gonna have to buy like feet and feet and feet of chicken wire cage because it's an 18 by I believe 9 space. So
You
it's
do.
not
You
small to
have
chicken
to
wire.
protect that.
Mhm.
You do, because the squirrels are the worst. Like people always kind of over exaggerate rabbits, but squirrels are worse.
People feed them here, and they're rodents. And I
Oh, what?
all
They
the
feed
food
them
that they
there.
get from the neighbors, though. Why are they still hitting my garden? Why are they still
Because
hitting
they're
my garden?
fat and they have like high metabolisms. I do actually believe scientifically they have like one of the higher metabolisms.
All of my corn. All of my corn.
Oh yeah, they
All
love
of
corn.
all
They
of
love it. You'll see them just sitting there like chewing it too. Like they'll sit on the fence in front of you, Scarlet, and they'll be eating your corn.
They ate
I
the plants
guarantee
out
it.
of the ground and took the seeds and ate them.
Damn.
Yeah, little
Now
bit.
that does seem a little excessive considering that people are feeding them.
Doesn't it? So I just feel like it's personal. And they don't touch all the plants. They only touched some of the plants. And it ate my new cucumber that popped out of the ground that I tried to grow.
Scarlet, did you accidentally run over one of their babies or something?
No. I've never done anything to these little bastards, okay? And they just keep trying to terrorize me. Now, they haven't come up onto my patio garden yet. But if they do, it is all out war. Like,
Yes.
Because I've already
then something will happen to the squirrels.
I've already told my apartment manager that, like, you got to rectify this, and she's like, I'm not rectifying this, and I'm like, but you have to rectify this, because if they do enough damage, I'm filing a claim with my renters, because it's going to be a pretty penny, and if you didn't mitigate it, you're going to have to pay my renters. So
yeah, and I'll tell you what, apartments are pretty uncooperative with most sort of pest control. I'll tell you that. It's kind
once
of fun.
you ask to mitigate pest control, it is now going to be their responsibility if they don't, and so they would have to pay. They'd have to pay for all my things. Like, I'd make it a claim, like damage to property, because I know for a fact, number one, and like they feed them. So that's an issue, and she teaches them to come up there and eat from her. So that's an issue. So I could like find direct culpability to make sure I was paid. I spend too much.
That in itself is pretty bad.
Yeah, I spend too much on seeds and to plant and specialized dirt and amendments, and I only do organic and only organic dirt and only organic fertilizer and only organic plants and or heirloom or non-GMO. I spend way too much to have that compromised by little varmints. There's no way. I can't let and especially like a year like this, where it's like crucial to have a little bit extra without spending and actually have something fresh and tasty that isn't old. Yeah.
That is true.
I don't think, I swear to you, I'll be kicked out the next month if I put them in a live trap. I already know. So I'm going to have to get creative, and I will.
Oh yeah, there's ways.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We'll talk about it later.
We will. Yeah, we will. We're going to have strategies. It'll be strategies with Scarlet and Teal, because this bullshit. Yeah, I'm all organic too, Bonnie, and they are demon rodents, and I just don't understand why people don't feel the same.
They are probably the worst of rodents.
They are. They absolutely.
Because they're freaking everywhere, and yes, people love them so much that they make them their pets.
No, it's not cool. They will bite you. They will.
Well, yeah, that's the concern I would have. If this person is feeding these girls, then they're gonna expect that and come up to people. And what happens if they come up to like one of your kids?
That's what I mean. Like, they climb all over the screens and everything. Like, now they climb on her screen to feed them.
Yeah, see, that is very, very problematic.
It's extra.
Yeah.
They know that they need to stop. So they need to learn how to forage on their own, so they don't but they didn't need to forage my things. Now, I thought, because I had got like the bird type netting and it's supposed to like deter rodents, but they just sat and chewed through that. And
yeah, you have to get industrial with them, because they do chew through shit.
They have teeth like a hamster, and they are constantly growing and all that. So I'm gonna put chicken wire on the fence. This is my first plan, and put chicken wire on the fence, right? Because the fence I have now is plastic and there's a hole in it for many years. I didn't put this fence up, so right now we just have to maintain it, right? So I'm gonna put chicken wire there, because that's where the little fuckers are coming through. On the other side, I'm also gonna put chicken wire, and I'm gonna put that up higher. But I'm going to make it like on a hinge, so the other lady can get in and out if she needs to. Because I think they're coming from that way too. Because then I can 100% prove that it's something that's breaking in. I think with seeing the bit hole in our fence, that pretty much shows how they're breaking in. But I'm going to now put something that you can't chew through metal. They actually can, but I'm going to try to make it super hard so that they can't. I'm going to put wire on wire on wire, and it's going to be the worst thing they've ever been through. And if they
Right.
do get through that, they better hope the little pieces of wire they just screwed through don't cut them like tiny daggers.
Now, I heard of a interesting scenario, as it were,
Okay.
where someone was very, very ingenuitive with nature and wire. So the person, what they did was they're very meticulous, and they took, I forgot what variation, but it is a thorny bush that binds out. And so they took clippings off this thorny bush and they wrapped it around the wire.
Mm.
So they had like basically a little mini barbed wire that the squirrels were pretty deterred from messing with.
Yes, I feel like that's where it has to go at this point.
Yes, that is.
No.
Because they're persistent. That's part of it.
More. They're tearing up all my things. Some things are allowed to grow, others are being decimated. I just feel some sort of way. They don't touch the rhubarb. I don't know why. The leaves are pretty much toxic, I think, to anything, including humans.
Well, you have to remember, rhubarb's growing everywhere. It's probably in the wild too, and so they get their fill of rhubarb. They want the special.
No, the leaves are toxic. So what I did is I took the leaf and wrapped it up in some deterrent oils and put that on in the hole. So hopefully that'll deter them because they'll have to eat through toxic rhubarb to get through. So hopefully that'll deter them.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because they're not chewing on that. So they're chewing on everything else. So. Can't where? What do you mean? Spray it where? They're not scared of shit. I'm not seeing them do this. I just come back and see the destruction.
Yeah.
So I'd like to make that aware. Yeah, because I don't live on that side of the building, so I can't see it from like my patio or anything like that. So I can only see my patio garden from there, and I have to walk out the back to go see that one. So pretty much all day it's left alone unless I go out there. And it could be at night. Like right now I could go out there and a bunny is eating on my stuff. Like, I don't know. And it is lit back there at night too. So it's lit and we have this problem. So I don't know who it is. But the neighbors claim to feed them, of which to try to keep them out, but they don't care. And so we're going to figure it out because this is not going to continue to happen. At least it doesn't happen so far at the farm with our garden. I hope. I think all of the other bigger animals probably keep little animals away from there. Like they probably smell all the pigs. They probably smell all the cows. They probably smell all the cats. They probably smell all the dogs or chickens. And
yeah, and they do get worried about the dogs and the cats because they do hunt them bastards.
Right, like bunnies and squirrels and stuff. So you don't see them too often, to be honest. And even chickens might peck them, you know. So I could see them just maybe avoiding. We've also used some organic plant repellent this year called Plant Skid with 2 Y's and 2 D's. It's called Plant Skid. And hopefully that will do something. I don't know for sure what's going to happen with that. But so far, nothing's getting eaten up. And we've got
lots to adopt a stray cat for your garden.
Yeah, we've got cats. And now the one cat really likes me. The one I feed every time I'm there. So now it follows me out to the garden and like harasses me. This cat harasses me. Everywhere I go, this cat goes now. Like,
yes, he likes you.
This cat is gardening. If I am like it won't come in the barn. So if I'm in the barn, that's not a deal. But if I'm outside in the other garden or anywhere else outside, I'm fair game. That's it. Like it smells me and is on it. Like, hello.
Oh yeah, that kitty's taking a shine to you.
Yes, it has one eye now too. So I don't know. It's a one-eyed kitty. I know it's sad. I don't know what happened to the eye. I don't know if it got hurt or if it was some type of like illness or
regular, farm cats, that's usually the case. Is something happened, they got in a fight with another, or something got into it, and they obviously, they're not getting treated as regularly as a indoor or a house cat.
Them. Sometimes you
So
don't
they
see them.
heal on their own, or they don't, and so it probably didn't.
So there's not much we could do about that. So it lost its
Exactly.
eye, but I don't. It was never like hanging out or anything. So I don't know what happened. So something happened with that one. So now it's a one-eyed kitty, but that kitty is not deterred by the one eye. I do feed it. Oh yeah, I should bring some food out there so it'll stay out there and keep shit out. That's a good
That's
idea.
what I'm saying. Is you should train the one-eyed kitty to be your little garden guardian.
Yeah, that's a
Always
good
train it to be there.
cat treats out there.
Just want to hang out and then like get the squirrels. Like while you're out there gardening and it's hanging out and like see a squirrel, like you see that? Get him. Like seriously, and just keep like whispering, whisper into the kitty's ear, like get it.
Well, the cat
Get that
follows me. If I'm like, come on, kitty, let's go get something to eat. Like if I'm in the garden, like the cat will follow me all the way back to its dish. So like
That's what I'm saying. So he's already taking direction from you. So seriously, when you see a squirrel together, you direct him to get the squirrel, and like you'll train the cat to get the squirrels. And so even when you're not there,
right,
he'll be able to get the squirrels.
That's true.
Very true.
Yeah, it probably will look for me. But if I'm not there, it doesn't look for me. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see what we can do.
Right.
I'm gonna start going more and then luring it to the garden. And then,
or you could leave like a little scarecrow, like something with your clothing, your scent on, have like that you don't want, make like a little kitty scarecrow.
right,
Put at the one end of the garden, and it smells like you, and so it'll help draw them in.
right. Oh yeah, that's a good idea because it does like just find me. Like I'll be standing outside, like, oh, kitty, hi.
Exactly.
Where'd you come from?
Yes, we're talking about kitties, Garfield.
Yeah, kitty talk. What's up, Garfield? Would you like to get in on kitty talk?
Let's see if he'll be good for kitty talk.
What's Garfield? Hi. We're having kitty talk.
Kitty
Thought we
talk.
included you.
There it is.
Yeah, I thought you would include you. Did you want to be in on this?
Out of all the cats in my world, I don't have a single one anywhere near me.
I know, right? I was just about to say, Cat, where's one of your 5011 cats? But apparently they're not around.
I'm in the truck, which usually still doesn't stop them. They are usually flooding me, but
None tonight, huh?
there's a storm brewing. Everybody's freaking hiding.
He looks like Kitty Sherbert. Oh. Cute. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, so this little kitty has like adopted me, I guess. It's okay. I'm highly allergic to cats, so yes, Garfield. Cats. So I don't know what to make of that. I'm like super allergic. Like I can't. Like
Yes, you're gonna be famous, kitty.
famous kitty. So yeah, my eyes swell up. I can't breathe. My throat closes. Like it's fucked up. Like it's bad. Like if I take allergy pills, I'm fine. She has a rescue named Orange Sherbert and Mr. Meowser. Oh, that's cute. Orange kitties are cute though.
Yeah.
There's a couple orange kitties.
Garfield's my first orange kitty.
There's a couple black kitties, a couple gray kitties. All types of kitties. White kitties. Barn kitties are variety. I don't even think barn kitties know what they are.
Yeah, right.
For real, they just come and go and come and go. And they're probably inbred and everything else. So I mean, it's barn kitties. What can you do? But you need barn cats though. But these cats like know what to do with these cows. Like they lay right underneath them. And I'm sure a few of them have succumbed to being like crushed. Because no way. But they know what they're kind of doing. And then the cows don't kind of mess with them either. It's a real interesting dynamic. They let them kind of just lay right under them. Like they won't lay, well, I should say right next to them. They won't lay like right them because that's stupid. But off to like the left or right of which they could just get laid on quickly if they need
Absolutely.
to rock over. And so they just kind of curl up in the hay and then they go to sleep. And that's their jam. So barn kitties are interesting. There was just a rescue of one of the cats because they can be. Since they are around enough people every day and multiple times a day, it's not like they're feral like other barn kitties. They get
Right.
to and fed, and I'm sure not petted as much as they should, but no one has time for that when you work at a farm. But they can be socialized and homed, so sometimes they do get, picked up from time to time, which is nice. Hi, Garfield.
Yeah, he's actually looking at you on the screen.
Yes. What's up, Garfield?
Hey, Garfield, what you doing, handsome boy?
What's
You've not gotten this much attention in a long time, have you, Kitty?
Come back to us, Garfield.
Yes, people are talking to you.
Yes, you, Garfield. Hey,
Hey, Garfield.
Garfield. Yeah. What's up, player?
I think you're getting them a little shy, camera shy.
Oh, they're actually talking to you? Like,
You're
What's
right.
up, son?
he's cute.
Yes, he's a very handsome kid.
He's like,
He
yeah,
is very aware of that, though. He likes to play up his looks.
yes, I am. Look at me.
You do.
So, what else do I want to talk about? I had a couple other topics I was going to talk about. We're going to pull those up. Who's that? Group chat. I don't know. The world is just becoming a crazier and crazier place. Everybody throwing out basically ultimatums every other word. Delete me, don't talk to me. If you believe in this, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yes, we can talk about that as well, Scarlet, because there's a lot of that going on, and there's a lot of angst that's going on in the entertainment, in the movie, in the gaming industry. There's a lot of political agendas, sociological agendas going on.
Can we bring up the Aunt Jemima and the cream of wheat?
Oh, did you hear tonight that the voice of Cleveland is stepping down?
Yes, Mike Henry,
Yes.
the voice of Cleveland Brown on
This is the Cleveland.
Family Guy and the Cleveland Brown Show, is quitting. And yeah, we can talk about that as well, because there is a lot to talk about with that.
Well, yeah, because I mean, let's just think about that. Oh, and then Simpsons came out and also said they want
Yes.
people of color to play people of color. And the one thing, it's almost like, for me, too little too late, because it's like you knew you should have had people like that playing roles of color from the beginning. And then to act like now we've come to this realization in 2020. Okay.
Well, not only that, there's further implications as well.
Well, that's just it. What just happened?
Because if you break it down, this kind of gives free reign. So further down the line, are we then going to have to face like some sort of weird and albeit kind of asinine instance where a black person wants to play a white character and there's guffaw over it?
Right.
That's my issue with this whole thing, and that it kind of plays its whole big role in this, as I will agree with a certain celebrity, Willow Smith. The cancel culture is out of control.
It is, though.
It really is. Because seriously, when you start talking about taking down statues of Abraham Lincoln
Christopher
president
Columbus.
that signed the Emancipation Proclamation, you want to tear down his statue
Right.
just because he had slaves?
Right. Like
Seems
everybody didn't.
beyond.
Like, you should also stop using the $1 bill, the $20 bill, the $50 bill, and the $100 bill because they all depict slave owners. Thus, you should mail them to me, and I
Yeah.
can, get rid of them
Spend it on
appropriately.
my new Fenty makeup kit or whatever
Yeah.
these TikTok influence people are going on and on about. I don't know, but like this cancel culture has gotten out of control because we are dangerously close to just trying to erase everything from the past. And when any culture, when any empire, when any civilization has done that, they tend to make those same mistakes, and it usually happens really fast. So, I mean, I can already see it, and we're not even into it yet. I mean, if we're going back and changing old time movies, changing, even if it might offend you or your sensibilities or whatever your SJW mentality or your Karen mentality, whatever it placates to, sitting there and editing what's already been made is such an insult, not only to the people who made it, but to the whole idea.
Right.
Like, that's somebody's art. Like, people just look at it as some money-making machine now because that's what places like Disney, places like, Amazon or Hulu or Netflix, we've all been brainwashed to think that everything has to be money making. That's why you have all these people out there that are trying to be influencers, who are trying to be the next big thing on YouTube and TikTok and whatnot so that they can get a paycheck, so they can get famous.
Right.
And I'm sorry, sheer logistics, not even whatever you want to talk about people's expectations or their talent, whatever. Pure logistics. Not everybody is going to be a superstar, a star with millions of followers. Logistically is just not possible. There are going to be people who just have, maybe a couple of thousand followers, and you should just be happy with that.
Right. Yeah. But people
You're doing you, and 5,000 people dig it. Like, let's just be real and take it down a notch, because all these people are going way fucking out of control. I mean, seriously. The shit is going straight to their heads, and it's filling it up with garbage. So they can't see all the real shit that's happening around them. And why they go on these tangents, let's tear down all these statues. And it's fine if you want to tear down statues of old Confederate generals. That makes sense.
Right.
That absolutely makes sense. But we have to keep in mind the balance. If you just start tearing everything down, it plays not only into the, you say the right-wing agenda, all those people saying, that's exactly what you're going to do is just burn shit, is just wreck shit. You're playing into that, but you're also destroying history. I mean, I saw some story about one of these, and I don't even think it was a general. I think it was some sort of like a colonel, and it was a little statue outside of a high school, and it got torn down. And there was just this sad story from the great-great-granddaughter of this person saying that, like, they used to take their family there as like a family ritual. And now they don't have that because these people have torn it down. And whether you agree with what happened before even your granddaddy was born, that makes no difference. You erase your history, and it is our history. It's all of our history. Okay? All of us. If you're erasing our history, what are we going to look back on when we come across something else in our future? That's the whole point of learning from your mistakes, learning from the bad shit that happens to you, and moving on in a positive and productive way.
Right.
Unfortunately, in a lot of ways, I've had to learn about that in certain aspects of my life the hard way. Albeit, people out there need to seriously drop all this bullshit.
And everyone, TLO, stood up and said, we're speaking, for Aunt Jemima's family and how horrible this is and blah, blah, blah. Our families come out and they're like mortified that you're taking her away. Like, this was a huge thing to them. They were so proud of this accomplishment of her for way back in the day, being on there and being accepted and being this huge national icon. And you have taken that away from the family. And not only have you taken that away from the family, but you've taken away all royalties that the family made from each sale of bottle of syrup. You've robbed them of their income now. You've robbed them of their life. Congratulations.
Well, and just everything else they've taken, like I said with cream of wheat. I get cream of wheat because the cream of wheat guy is dressed up in minstrel dress, right? Of the stereotypical black cook from movies in the early 30s and 40s that was like, yes, massa, and make them cream of wheat. But Aunt Jemima wasn't that. Now, they did change the look in the early 90s to have the look of what we know today, which was, the hair done nicely, pearl earrings, and a nice outfit on. And it changed from, the white kerchief look of Aunt Jemima that was before. And I think that where does it stop for people of color on packaging or in industries when cartoons like The Simpsons and Cleveland Show say, well, we will no longer have characters of color unless they're played by actors of color? And are there actors of color who are being overlooked? Okay, but then does that change things? Will there be roles written for them, or will this just be now a way to not write any roles and they'll be like, well, they can have their own shows, and be more segregated than ever before? There was a time, especially in the early 90s, where there was tons of black shows on TV, on regular national syndicated television.
And like Bonnie just pointed out for us, you just took somebody who should be completely celebrated because, like she said, she is a real person. She had a different name. She was born in a slave and became a millionaire.
Right.
To put
You
it
just
into
took that away from her.
To put it into perspective, it'd basically be like taking away, like, the logo or branding for a beehive cereal.
Yeah.
You feeling me, Scarlet?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm telling you, if like 100 years from now they have a cereal that has Beyonce on it, they decide to take her off for some reason. Right. Because she did something that offended somebody in the future. Because that's basically what you're breaking this all down to.
That's basically what cancel culture is, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's basically what you're breaking it down to, is looking forward. At some point, that person offends somebody, and then they get canceled out.
Yep.
And it could be someone like Beyonce. It could be like somebody that's, looked at as like heralded. Because at the time, like Bonnie pointed out, like we're talking about, these people were pioneers. They were changing the game before people even knew about the game.
And you're going to erase their history now. And like you said, TLO, when you erase that history, what do you have left? Oh, guess what? We're going to repeat it now because we don't fucking remember it.
Right. And remember, it only takes about 50 years to repeat a cycle. We know this, the decay theory, and how just systems, memories, and what you believe is happening decays over a 50-year time period to where you can replace everything you once knew in that 50-year time period.
Right. Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. And that's what's happening to us right now. And will they replace black products? Will there be?
Oh, and you know what? You know what? Okay, classic example of like the things that people are saying never freaking happened. Okay, listen. Darth Vader. Darth Vader. That's all I'm going to say.
Mandela effect now?
Darth Vader. White actor, black man's voice.
Yep.
Right. James Earl Jones, though. Yep. James Earl Jones.
Okay.
Though.
Also, I would also like to point out the time in which the James Earl Jones was also the Verizon guy.
Right.
He was the voice of Verizon for a long time.
Right.
Like,
yeah, he's been the voice of a lot of products.
True.
Yeah.
Including, I'm certain, some products that are probably deemed questionable now.
Now we make Darth Vader black?
Yeah.
Just saying. Like, no. So, I mean, we got to think about these things in context. Yes, things should change for roles, and roles should be multi-ethnic, because they're fictional stories. For instance, like when we did, Annie, I knew I would never get cast as Annie, right? We need to start thinking about what's actually culturally, but then also
they have recently redone a whole lot of like
right.
Yeah, and they did do Annie. They redid Annie.
Yeah, they did redo Annie with a black person.
They did.
Correct. Because the villain was Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, and this one was like Jamie Foxx and the little girl.
Yeah.
As Daddy Warbucks. This is the type of thought process we need to apply.
They also did a lot of the white princesses are being redone now too.
Right. Can we get the Black Princess a better story first? Because I just feel like Princess and the Frog did not do black people justice.
No, it absolutely didn't. It was very placating.
Wasn't it dry till
it was.
It was. Had a better black princess than that.
Correct. It came out flat. The whole thing, like the story, the
intent, and again, they're like trying to say like, black people are cast in a lot of like big roles, but then look at Will Smith, dude.
Correct.
He is in a lot of main roles, and I forget the name of the one movie, but his like whole family's in the movie with him.
Trying to
like
remember
his son, the daughter, the wife, all of them are in there.
Okay, I got kicked out.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one that one was. I know he's been in a couple with his son because he was in.
It's like an end of world one because
yeah,
they're like
it was After Earth or something like that.
Yeah, After Earth, that might be the name of it.
What are you talking about? Will Smith movies?
Yes.
Yeah, because we're like they're always saying that nobody of color is ever in.
What about Independence Day? What about Bad Boys? What about?
They're always saying like people of color are never in like prominent roles. And I'm like, but like, look at Will Smith. Look at
Will Smith,
Kevin
Dwayne
Hart.
Johnson. Dwayne
Kevin
Johnson.
Hart.
Yep, The Rock.
Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Yep.
Like, I'm just saying, like, they're playing some pretty prominent. Oh, that big, huge guy, that big, huge black guy that plays in Green Mile.
Oh yeah.
Michael Clark
Duncan. He plays in a lot of stuff too.
Michael Clark Duncan. And if you're talking about the modern day one who's been in stuff like Us, that's Winston Duke. He was also in Black Panther. If you want to keep going, because there's more. Right.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
True.
I mean, let's be
And
real.
Morgan
Jamie Foxx
Freeman
has
is
had some decent
portrayed.
movies too.
Listen, y'all, I just want to point this out. Morgan Freeman is portrayed as God in more movies than any white person ever has been.
Any single white person. That is an actual Guinness record. You can look it up.
Oh, wow. I didn't know.
No, he has. And we're talking about even George Burns.
And like,
Remember,
you don't get
he
any more
played
powerful
in
than being played
Oh
God.
God.
True that.
Like, he played him more times than that.
Right. Okay. So I'm just saying, like, you don't get any more powerful than playing God on television, and you have done it more than any other actor of any time.
He's also played the president 3 times, I do believe.
Right. True story.
Yeah. So, like, they can drop that. Idris Elba. And we're talking about prominent on movies and also stage.
Yep.
And television. So, like,
Yep.
no, there's minorities out there, and they do get good parts. We just have
They
to
get
actually
amazing
first
parts,
off,
and they do amazing
pay
jobs.
attention to them. That's the thing, is you actually have to look at those movies. You actually have to look at those films, those parts, and not be turned off, or just go and enjoy it as a movie. I get always so pissed about that sort of shit, and I see it because of this weird cancel culture, this weird politics with the media and the gaming and the movie industry, how the media covers it a certain way for certain studios. I mean, it's getting ridiculous.
What about the whole Wayans family?
Dude, even in Dexter, the white guy was the bad dude, and the black guy was the good guy.
Oh, yeah, and there's been plenty of those. Like, plenty of those movies where the role is reversed, or the portrayal of the role is reversed.
And the, like, first perfect, like, black-white together working as a team movie is the one, you know, oh, what's his name? He's older. And it's they're cops. My Lethal Weapon.
Oh, I can beat you with that. In the Heat of the Night.
Truth.
Miami Vice.
In the Heat of the Night, though, that was a controversial show.
Yep.
Yeah.
That came to Hazard.
Yep. Heat of the Night, Miami Vice.
Mm-hmm.
Just even remembering black shows when I was a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was The Cosby Show.
Right.
There was Family Ties.
Right.
There was the one that had the guy in it that was like dynamite.
Good times.
Good times.
Good times. There was that one. There was
The Jeffersons.
oh yeah, the Jeffersons. Is that the Moving On Up?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yep.
Sanford.
The Jeffersons. And they had a white maid, by the way.
They did. Mm.
Yeah, they did. And that was definitely intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to remember. What was the one with the Queen Latifah?
Living Single.
Living Single. Martin.
Bringing Down the House.
That was
Bringing Down the House.
Mr. Cooper.
Yes, Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
That was a good.
Yep. Oh, Urkel.
Yes. What? Family Matters, I think.
Family Matters. I used to watch the shit out some Family Matters, buddy.
Different World.
I was a fan. What was that?
A Different World.
A Different World. Yep. Mm-hmm. There was lots of great black television.
Yes. And that's the thing is like people are even to the point where they infight about that. And it's like, oh, whether or not that was just like black exploitation carryover or if it was actual good programming. And then obviously you have all the fallout with the Cosby Show and how that's not even on air anymore because of what happened with Cosby.
Yeah, that was a shame, though. That was a little awful.
That was not right.
But at the same time, like, they were good shows. Like, even as a white child growing up, I watched these shows.
Yes, that's because it was a great show for that very fact alone, is it actually carried to a white audience.
Right.
And it
all of these shows that we've mentioned, I watched all of them.
Yes.
Some more than others. And there were a lot of, don't get me wrong, there were a lot of white shows too.
They keep kicking me out. So I had to go on my phone. I can't even stay on. Well, they can't even stay on the computer. It won't let me.
And there were a lot of good white shows too going around at the same time. And they were filtered in, like you would have Happy Days, right? Mm-hmm. And then after Happy Days, you'd have like the Cosby Show.
Right.
And then you'd have like, I don't know, whatever that one was with the dad that was like the counselor and the mom and the two kids and whatever. They were white and they were a weird family and they did weird shit, but whatever. They had that one and I can't remember the name of that one now. But that was a white one. And then there would be like Good Times. You know, like it was like, you know, one after the other. And I'm sure that was done on purpose.
Yes.
But at the same time, like I knew plenty of colored people at the time that were watching the same white shows I was watching, as well as the same black shows I was watching. It was no big deal. We used to sit and watch them together. We enjoyed them together. We could sit and listen to a comedian make fun of black people, make fun of white people, make fun of Puerto Rican people, and that shit was still funny.
True.
That is very true. And yeah, comedians have come out about this sort of stuff as well because they're kind of sick of it. It's just like we're up here doing what we're expected to do, is make jokes and make people laugh.
And maybe I'm wrong, but part of what helped us keep the division away was stuff like that.
Was laughing together.
Together, being able to be like, no, it is true
together,
you know, and I don't want to offend anybody, so I'm going to say something about white people instead of black people for once, you know. So, you know, instead of being offended when somebody's like, oh yeah, so white people really dig their horseradish, okay, as opposed to somebody being like, oh, you know, or oh yeah, white people mostly just drink their organic juices, whatever you want to like put on us, you know, like when you like Fluffy has the skit that he does about the racial gift basket, and he's going to give that gift basket to the black friend, and they go to a grocery store and they're figuring out all the things to put into this gift basket the black man would love, you know, fried chicken, some Kool-Aid, some, you know, and they just made this whole basket of different things and they delivered it to his door, and he loved everything in it until he read the stupid card that they put in there, and then it all blew up and he got mad, and then, you know, it was a big joke, but that was funny.
Right?
Nowadays, people hear him and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe he just said black people love fried chicken.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but it's true.
I have
a lot of white people love fried chicken too.
Yeah, exactly. Like white people love white chicken too. Like,
You know,
let's just be real.
Fried chicken is fried chicken, bitches.
Chicken.
It's finger licking good for a reason.
Exactly. Fried chicken is fried chicken, but chicken is chicken, and everybody pretty much eats chicken.
Okay.
Almost
now,
everybody.
I don't know if you've seen the little black comedian Terrence Williams.
No, I have not.
Okay. Well, he has been on Facebook, Twitter, all the places. He's met President. He's met President Trump. He actually almost got killed going to try to see President Trump, which was crazy. And there's just been a whole bunch. But like he did this whole little skit, and he likes to like do stuff on his program. So what he does is like he'll take what somebody else has done, or somebody on the news, like we'll say Biden, right? And he'll put Biden's little speech up, and he'll be like sipping something in the corner, which is usually Kool-Aid. Okay, and he'll be sipping it with a straw with a blanket around him, mocking him, doing little facial gestures, and it's hilariously funny. And then he'll put his
he does the split screen of it.
Yes, it's great. And I love Terrence Williams. He's amazing. And he does this whole skit about how he's going to run for president, and the one thing he's going to make is a barbecue day. National Barbecue Day, and he's gonna have chicken delivered to everybody's door, and we're all gonna barbecue because that's what Black people do. And this shouldn't just be a black or white thing. It should be a combination of everybody barbecuing, because barbecues bring everyone together. And he does so much split screen with being the black
and we
person.
do a lot of potlucks here, and we know that potlucks are for all people.
Correct.
Oh shit, yeah, dude. Listen, we have gypsy freaking things here all the time. We call them our gypsy gatherings. And what happens? One person calls another person and goes, you know what? So check it out. I ain't got no money. I'm broke as shit, and I got like 4 chicken legs and 6 people. And you're like, oh, well, you know what? I got like 9 burgers. I could bring them over. Oh, okay, I'm gonna fire up the grill. By the time you go over there with your 4 burgers, now you've got like 3 or 4 other people who have now shown up with, here's one that brought some hot dogs. Here's one that brought, potato salad. Here's one that brought fried chicken.
Right.
I'm just saying, mashed potatoes, whatever. And then, by the time you're done, there's like 12 of you, all from the neighborhood, all in one place, all sharing your food, because one person called one person and said, hey, I'm short on food today.
Right.
That's not a black or white thing, man. That's a human thing.
True.
It shouldn't be black, white, brown, or otherwise. It's human.
Yep. There really is no difference.
It's compassion.
So many people have come out and said, like, the only difference between like white people and black people is that their ancestors moved further away from the equator. And
right.
That would cause them to have less melanated skin as the years went on, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. So everybody really comes from the same DNA, and by us choosing these ignorant ideas that we think work, right? Really
different strokes, Fat Albert.
Yep.
More ones that we forgot.
That's true. It's true.
Oh, Halle Berry is an actress.
True. Martin was a good show.
Oh, I did say Martin.
Did you say Martin?
I did, because I loved me some Gina.
Yeah. Damn, Gina. That was a good show.
It was a freaking good show. And the one that had the brothers in it, the Black brothers.
The Wayans Brothers show?
Yes.
That was a good show with Pops. That was a good
Yep,
show.
yep, likes that. What was that one? With the old man and the younger son, and they were black. I want to say Red Fox, but that's not it.
No, his name was Red Fox, and it was Sanford and Son.
Sanford and Son, yes, ma'am. And it was Red Fox. Dad's name was Red Fox, right?
Yep. Red Fox was a comedian, correct. He was funny. And so people just don't pay attention to that. We have just somehow forgot and acted like we're still, and this is why people like Candace Owens and others came, and Kanye West came and said, get off the plantation. Because look at people. They're acting like we're still on the plantation to some degree. And yes, there are issues. And we've talked about
the facts of life.
Yeah, but we talked about those issues. We've talked about them since the riots. Even before then, we've talked about the disparities. And
and the facts of life back in the day. That show had everything. It had white, black, Hispanic, and Asian.
Right.
All in the girls living in the house.
That's very true.
Yep.
They were all there.
Many shows had that, even all that, the variety shows, Saturday Night Live has always had black people, and yes,
Saturday Night Live, oh my God, when it used to actually be good.
Yeah. And not politicized and not like in poor taste.
And I hate to say it because it was totally white hillbilly, but it was a great show, and you guys got to deal with it, but, freaking yeehaw.
Oh, yeah. Yeehaw. And like those type of variety shows were good too, and there were characters on them.
And remember the old lady Pearl?
Have characters.
Remember the old lady Pearl on Hee Haw that wore the hat with the freaking price tag hanging off of it?
Right, or like Love.
And like that wasn't offensive to white people. Come on.
Right, or like Love American Style would have black people and all types of people.
Yeah.
We used to be able to laugh at ourselves and at each other.
Oh, and those dance ones. All the dance ones were really popular. Soul Train, yes, ma'am.
And then
and you guys even had, and there was even the whatever they called it, the black radio stations on the channels.
You're talking about BET?
Huh?
Yeah, like BMZ and all that.
BET.
Yeah, BET.
Remember the box, Tilo?
I do.
Yeah, the box.
I remember all that shit.
I used to call into the box and get the song you wanted.
Yep.
Yeah. Remember when you could call into MTV?
Yeah.
Yep. They had video requests.
They used to have video requests. Yep. Yeah. So I mean,
it was like a big deal if you got your little thing on the little screen. You remember?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's why, like I said, so there were avenues, for people. Def Comedy Jam.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How good was Def Comedy Jam? Without Def Comedy
Jam, the bomb.
How many people would have never even got their starts as comedians without that platform of Def Comedy Jam?
Okay. Yes, Bonnie, I will give her credit that The Color Purple was a good movie. And yes, Oprah Winfrey was in it. However, I do not advocate anything for Oprah Winfrey. I do not agree with anything that she stands for. And I do believe that she is a child diddler. That is all I'm going to say about that.
Right. Yeah, I don't mess with Oprah either. But yeah, no, Color Purple was good. But see, you know what a lot of people will say?
Purple Rain Prince!
People will say a lot of Oprah is sold out after Color Purple anyway, though. They'll be like, that was her fame days.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that a lot.
Yep. So, I mean, there's that. There's a lot of issues, and so I think that there's been a lot of culture. Michael Jackson, the other day would have been like, how many years since Michael Jackson died. There's been a lot of black influential singers like the Isley Brothers or lots of blues singers. And just there's been a lot of presence, and people act like they haven't been pushing that up. And, that's all erased for knee to jerk emotions. And I just really wish that part of it would stop. Yes.
That's very true.
Aggressions and microaggressions need to stop that are done, and certain assumptions and stereotypes do need to stop from people. But like I said before, I just think the cure to that is starting to call out Karens. You see a Karen talk a shit on the internet or in a store or anywhere.
Oh my God.
As a white person.
What was her name? The little blonde girl. What was the little blonde girl's name from Little House on the Prairie?
Oh, Laura Ingalls Wilder. Anyway, because...
No. The little blonde one.
Oh, Nellie Olson.
Nellie, the original Karen, right there.
Right there. That's what I'm saying. Because there was an episode about her picking on black folks too, where Laura Ingalls Wilder had to put her ass in her place.
Yes.
We start pulling shit like that in our community, and when you see a Karen, call a Karen out. I'm gonna call it # call out a Karen. When you do that, you at least are showing black people that you ain't playing with this shit, and that shit is so inappropriate to keep the stereotypes alive, right? Because that's what I think needs to happen. There's nothing that we can do overnight instantly to change it, but if people could at least commit to say, hey, if I see this shit happen, I'm going to call these people out. I'm going to say something to them. I'm not just going to let that shit slide or be quiet or, hide and be timid. I'm going to start, finding retribution, right? I think a lot of things would change. I think a lot of people would feel embarrassed to do shit like that and would keep it within their homes, as that shit should be. Nobody's telling you that you have to think a certain way, even though I think if you think bad thoughts about other people for preconceived notions, not for shit because TLO and I both know there's shit about folks, but there's shit you also assume, right, about different races.
Right.
And so,
absolutely.
There is that, right? So you got to be careful because race relations are sticky, but some things can be cultural, and that's not being insensitive. That's just explaining how things are. But it depends on if you use it as the race as a whole or if you're explaining individual incidents, right? So that's what we got to start doing. We got to start calling out the Karens. We see a Karen, call out a Karen. Help that person realize that they are being a shit person and that this won't be tolerated in the space of public realm. Bring that shit at home. Keyboard warrior that shit or something under an alias or something. But as far as being public with those type of attitudes, we got to cut the shit. Black people, if you see black people acting a fool to white people for no reason,
correct.
Tell them to quit the shit.
Definitely tell them to cut the shit.
Yep. It goes.
I ain't tolerating none of that.
Hell no. It goes both ways. That way, you can start creating accountability for people out there in the public, right? So if we see it, and I hate to say see something, say something, but actually not to the government, to the person.
Correct.
That's what we need to start doing. I think that's one of the ways that could be meaningfully a way to construct good behavior and call people out to where they feel embarrassed and personal shame. Not everybody will work on those tactics. Some people don't have consciences. But for the most part, for most people, they will think twice. If they think they're going to turn viral or this is going to get out somewhere that could harm them, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think
we do live in those days.
Cancel culture should do its thing to some degree, and then we move on. Like that Karen in Central Park who picked on the black dude who was bird watching.
Right.
That Karen, she lost her job, she lost her dog, and that's too bad. That's too bad because you told that man that you were going to make up calling the police over trying to give your dog a treat so he could get your dog to be quiet, so he could observe the birds. He asked you to put the dog on a leash, of which there's a leash law in this park, and you get mad at him and tell them that you're going to call the police and tell them that there's an aggressive black man coming towards her. Yeah, no, Karen. You deserved your whole goddamn life ruined, and I don't even feel bad about it.
Absolutely true.
Yep, true.
That is
I don't
absolutely
feel
true.
bad. You shouldn't even have done dumb shit like that. Like, that is the most, you knew that you were using his blackness against him, and that's the type of Karens that, yeah, cancel culture.
She was weaponizing her privilege.
Yeah, because she knew she had a privilege. Because, see, that's an instance where we could call out that white privilege does exist. We know that police will come out and beat on black people more often because they believe black men are more violent and commit more crimes, which they do to some degree. And so, therefore, they are a target and they are considered basically dangerous, even if they're not. And so she knew what she was doing.
Exactly.
This man is observing birds.
She was using the intent.
We found the most least aggressive black man in New York City to go harass. And you better be glad you didn't want to find one of those hood street fools, because they would have just knocked you out. They would have been calling the police and recording you. They would have knocked you out and left you there. That's what would have happened. So I just feel like people need to call people like that out. Stop calling out everybody that you don't even know their life story or their intention. Stop making white people feel bad if you don't even know how they react to people.
Correct.
Because you don't know what they do. But if you see the actions, you can call it out. We got to stop assuming that everybody is racist or has ill intention towards them, regardless, even outside of race. Because now people act like, oh, why would you want to talk to me? What do you mean?
Absolutely.
Why would I want to talk to you? Especially like on the internet and stuff. People act real freaky. And it's like, why wouldn't I talk to you? Why wouldn't I want to converse with you? So we've got to just back up those lines of like, no, we as individuals can talk to each other, right? We don't need extra bullshit added onto it. But that's what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to make conversations extra complicated. They're trying to make apologetic scenes for theater. I don't like that.
Right.
Right? Because, like, especially, like, the white people bowing in front of black people. They had an event where black people in people's shoes and wash their feet and shit. Like, that shit, I just feel is, like, pandering. Like, that's just as bad as when they put black people in the minstrel movies. Now you've turned the whites into the minstrel. And is that even, is that good? You know what I mean? Like, oh, you feel good.
That tit for tat shit that I keep telling people will come back and bite them in the end.
Well, yeah, because you can't. I've always said you got to be really careful about this race situation because they're going to try to, some people are going to try to take revenge, and revenge is not what's needed. If equality is being equal and being treated the same, there is no leg up on the next guy. There is none.
Correct.
So, do you really want equality, or do you want to be equal? Because me and Red told this story once, and we might need to tell it again, because it's really important to understand, right? Remember the baseball story, Red?
Yes.
Where the guy's looking over the fence, and you've got three guys, and you've got one guy who can look over the fence. You've got one guy who cannot see through the fence. You've got another guy who, at this point, can see through a hole.
Is at a perfect height to see through a hole in the fence.
Right. Okay. Now, you want to tell the story, G?
So, equality versus the other.
Equal. Right.
Equal. Okay. Equal means that everybody, these three people, are given a single box. Each one gets one box. Now, the other guy gets to stand on his box. The guy that could originally look over the fence, right?
Right.
He stands on his one box. He can just see further over the fence. He didn't even need a box. He could already see over the fence, right?
Right.
The short guy who can't see over the fence at all, where he's at the fence, stands on his box and still can't see over the fence because the box isn't tall enough for him. The other guy that was at the perfect height to look through the hole in the fence, stands on his box, and guess what? Now he can't see the game at all because it's not tall enough for him to actually see over the fence, and now he's too tall to look through the hole. So now you have two people who can't watch the game versus the one, where equality means that dude down there doesn't get his box because dude in the middle got his box and stood on his box to give him two boxes to be able to look over. And the guy on the end didn't get a box because he never needed one.
Yep.
Right.
Either.
Yep.
That's equality versus quality, or versus
equal.
Because then, if you give everybody what you need in that situation is you need to give the one guy enough so that he can see over the fence better, and the other guy needs to be risen up too. The other guy is fine. He's cool. He's seeing it. He's experiencing it. You know, I don't think people think about it till you hear that analogy and you're like, yeah, because otherwise, if you keep screaming equality, but then you're like, oh, give us all a box. How does that help anybody? How does that help anybody? Only one person out of that situation is truly going to be helped. And that's if that box is high enough to bring both over.
Exactly.
And the other guy doesn't need anything. So we got to quit thinking, oh, equality. Equal. You got to really think about what that's going to mean. Equality doesn't mean a leg up and because of this or that. You know, they're trying to like erase time too. It's like, okay, if you've lived all this life and now you're resenting business owners and other people, I'm here to tell you, anybody can own a business. Anyone.
Yep.
You only need I think it's like $150 to file in the state to
That is correct.
LLC. And then you have your own company, even if it's just an idea, right?
And that is also correct.
Yeah, even
you
if
don't actually have to have any physical. It can all just be in paper.
Truth. You can just have a name and proof of concept and what you would like to do. You don't even have to say what it does. You just need to register.
Exactly.
Right? And even before then, you can act as a business, but there's just things you can't legally obtain, like taxes or tax breaks. Or, you know, a lot of places won't let you function really without that. Honestly, you can't get a bank account for your business or anything like that. So it is kind of important, but it's a $150 hurdle, right? And people are acting like business ownership is so far few in between. And now with the internet, you can build just about anything on the internet. And so we got to bring hope back to these communities. We have to bring education to schools to teach kids about entrepreneurship, right? We need to teach them that no matter who they are, even the little black kids in the hood can go and even do like multi-level marketing. Sell Avon Makeup. There's a lot of these girls out here who do hair and makeup and could slay selling this makeup to their friends who would want to buy it. Who go out and buy it.
There's a lot of those sort of companies out there. It's just they don't know about them, and
they don't know how to do anything. Taught them in school how to sign up for these companies, get their parents to even sign them up while they're in school, and teach them while they're in school how to maintain it. Teach them how to network market. You can have kids, I think, as young as 12, like in Young Living, sign on with their parents. And then they can have technically their own co-account at 16. There's a lot of ways that kids can make money that we could be teaching them at school. We need more internship programs at businesses to bring in young kids out of high school so that they can have some guaranteed jobs. We need to also try to get the workforce who needs jobs back in work. You know, a lot of jobs are going to change now because of COVID. That honestly, these people are sitting and saying, "Oh, this extra $600 a week is so great." Yeah, right? And that shit's gonna run out. Then what? Then they realize that there aren't the jobs that they thought that they were going to be able to go back to, right?
Right.
Then they're going to realize that the whole economy is shifted, and now there's no job for them and no place in the job market. then how is that going to go over when we already had the ageism issues in employment?
Correct.
Yep.
Absolutely.
For people over the age of 50 to really get a job, honestly. You know, especially like when even my mom was looking for jobs, like I said, in her 50s. She had a hard time getting hired, especially just at like entry level jobs, like jobs she should be able to get, like a grocery store or, you know, things of that nature. And they act like
my mother's in her 60s and the same. She's been looking for a job. She almost started working at Trader Joe's.
That's what I mean. And then they act like they don't want to hire you though, and you try to work at these. Like my mom's like applied to all those places, like Aldi, Trader Joe's. When Rainbow was around, they actually hired her and wouldn't hire me at the time, which I was glad about in the end because they were not the greatest.
No.
But at the same time, it was like that was the only place that was like willing, and she had like a great record, and then technically like retired. So because she won her own, you know, case against, you know, the company that she was with before, only because it was just like a fatigue issue over 30 years of working there. They couldn't deny that this was about it, you know. Her body just gave out, you know. And so they seem like the only people. So it's like we already have an ageism issue, and now jobs are going to disappear. And restaurants and clothing stores and all of these facilities that we know of today are just going to disappear.
And they're already talking about like replacing some aspects of our workforce with robots.
Yep. The Walmart stores in certain states have already went completely like digital.
Yep.
Like, where they have like these robots that are, you know, roaming the halls. And then they also have like no checkout people anymore, all self checkouts. So all the lanes are being turned into self checkouts.
Yeah.
Like people just don't realize what's going to happen. They're going to automate everything. They're going to try to force vaccinate everyone. I know people say, "Oh, Scarlet, you're just bullshitting. That's not going to happen." No. A lot of states are saying we're not opening up until we get a coronavirus vaccine. We're not letting the kids go back to school until we get a coronavirus vaccine.
Right.
Well, guess what? Guess what that means for Scarlet? Scarlet gets excluded from life because I'm not doing it, nor are my children. And so therefore, we're all going to have to decide, do we want to be a part of society or not? And I know everybody's like, oh, well, Scarlet, that hasn't happened yet. But it's coming, y'all. We've already been right on everything else.
I know, and that's what I say to people. It's like I've already called it so far, so.
Yeah, so why not believe me now when I'm telling you? You know, I've got pregnant mothers arguing with me on Facebook when they're like, oh, I'm getting COVID tests now every week for my pregnancy. And, you know, and I was like, be careful with taking a test like that. I personally would switch doctors if my clinic system was making me do this. Because they're saying that if you test positive, they're going to separate you from your child. Oh, no, Scarlet, that's not going to happen. They're not going to take my baby away. This one chick who claims to work in a clinic says, oh, no, they're not taking babies away. They're in one clinic. One fucking clinic. That does not mean you know the state of the whole fucking medical system. But these people are ignorant and they think it's not going to happen to them.
Sorry, getting a little feedback.
No, we are getting feedback. Where's that coming from, right? Did you change your settings too?
I think Red has those up.
Red, picture audio. Picture audio G. Picture audio G. Bonnie says, let's hope they don't use robots to prevent COVID and other new viruses. I like dealing with real people. It'd be a lonely world not to be able to chat with a real person in the checkout stand. See, and that's the truth. Like, for some people, especially like Bonnie, like some of that, let's see if Red's mic's working now. Is it better? Right.
What?
Why is your thing echoing? What'd you do? Did you change like the, can you go into your audio settings and see if you can change anything?
Change it to what?
I don't know. It's feedback.
It's what?
It's getting feedback. Like I'm echoing.
I don't know what it would be getting any feedback from. Nothing else is playing.
It's even you. See?
Yeah.
Take off disable audio processing.
That isn't on.
It's not on?
No.
That's better.
Yeah, that whatever we just did.
Whatever
I
just
didn't
happened.
do anything.
Okay,
I don't know. Whatever happened, it fixed it, man. That's all we're saying. Yay.
Maybe they've been listening to us.
Yeah, you know they are. They always are. We didn't invite you people. But you know, for people like Bonnie, especially who live alone and just really have her animals, you know, her only like interaction is people at the store. Hell, my only interaction besides on the internet with you people is like store people. Like
Correct.
hell. Like for real, like
the people at work.
Honestly, you're the
so
last
far,
person
and then
even seen that I know. Like besides like my family I saw one time. But like still you're the last person that I saw that was like not a family member. So
I had a few months like that.
Right. So it's like I don't get that much contact with outside people unless I'm at a store either. So it's just kind of shit. Yeah, and energy is exchanged when you chat with people. Just even a quick few words, even just a smile can change somebody's day. You don't know. I always try to be friendly when I'm out and talk to people and be friendly. Maybe I'm that guy when I'm out. I don't know. But I just try to be friendly and inviting and have conversation and make light of things. And, you know, I've never been called out on it. So I'll continue.
Well, that's what all these youngins are meaning when they say vibing. So
right, like life should be a whole vibe, you know, like that's what it should be about. What else do we got? Let's see what we got. Parasite found in bag lettuce in 7 states, so be careful with bag lettuce.
Well, Scarlet, did you want to talk about the battle that's brewing in Minneapolis?
Oh, let's talk about it. What about it? I don't know.
Well, the battle lines have been drawn today as of, well, actually, I should say yesterday, Friday, the 26th of June. Our city council voted, I do believe, 12-0 to start dismantling the police force.
Yes, to abolish the police. That is correct.
Mayor Jacob Fry, less than 30 minutes later, comes out and says they're making a grave mistake.
Right.
As he stands there with Chief Arredondo. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us begin.
I tried not to have that happen. He's like, I just really don't think it's a good idea. Why? This is, you know, and this is something that Elizabeth from Green Guilds and I actually talked about doing a series on, is because she was a sitting city council member, right? And so she has a lot of perspective on how city charters work, how city managers work, how the law works within city council structure. Now, granted, every city's charter is different, but there are basic tenets of how the job has to be run under the state statute. Okay.
Yes.
And so we were going to actually talk about that because I was like, who can we put in charge to try to regulate city councils? Because city managers aren't enough. We need a panel that's between the mayor and the city council that can veto even the city council's decisions. Because how do we prevent, like what we have now, where we have a whole council that's radical, who has said that people need to step down and stop letting their white privilege show and let their neighborhoods be robbed, let their neighborhoods be overfilled with drugs and crime because they need to check their white privilege. No, that's some fucking bullshit. You got these are people who tolerate all sorts of folks in their neighborhood with shenanigans anyway. This is not a white privilege issue. This is a human rights and crime issue. Okay? They have the right. If I were these homeowners, I'd sue the shit out of the city for loss of enjoyment. And I would get the attorney general to also file these crimes, but he will not because he's a Tifa warrior. Okay. But point being, Somebody needs to be in between, because you cannot tell people that it's okay for their now I do agree that they do need to demilitarize the police. That is
Absolutely.
the first and foremost thing that they could do to stop their violent engagement, unless with dealing with a violent perpetrator. Yeah. Because, okay, if some guy is trying to fight you with everything he's got, yeah, whoop his ass. Okay, get him subdued any means necessary. That's fine. But regular civilians, that type of aggression has got to stop. That sort of kick-starting and explosive moments in law enforcement, they're going to have to stop. They're going to have some stop-to-think type of situation where before they even employ force, they got to call for higher-ups, unless literally in hand-to-hand combat. Like, seriously. Because apparently some people can't make good choices when in the thick of shit, right? So something's going to have to change on that level.
Yes.
I don't know what, but like I said, I think we need somebody in between city council and the mayor, and between city council and police, who can control either way what everybody else is doing, and a group who controls them. Because I think if you had a little bit more people to have ideas funnel through, you wouldn't get things done as easily. But then you also always open the door to cronyism. Because a 12-to-zip vote is a big deal. And if Mayor Fry vetoes this, they have the power to override.
Yes.
So this is going through, which means then, that doesn't mean that the police are abolished yet. So people who are like, oh, your police are gone. No, they're not gone yet. This has to then go to
a city vote.
To a ballot measure this November, where city of Minneapolis will have to vote on if they would like to abolish the police or not, according to the city charter.
And you know that alone is not going to be necessarily an easy task.
No, because all of the people who say right now it's all cool and da-da-da-da-da, when they get in that ballot box, if they're a homeowner in Minneapolis, they're going to be voting no, because they don't want their property values to plummet.
Correct.
They're not going to want to...
A lot of homeowners will vote no.
A lot of homeowners will vote no. And it is a large portion of Minneapolis now. There's families from all different types of backgrounds now. You know, it's more like what my dad used to talk about in the 60s and 70s, where, like, Southside had a lot more white people, and black people were just kind of peppered in, right?
Yes.
And so it was kind of even returning to that. How many people are probably fleeing Minneapolis right now? And they just got housing prices stabilized.
Oh, there's a lot of chaos going on in the market right now.
Yeah. And rates are cheap. Historical lows. People are getting even as low as 2.25% interest on homes.
Exactly.
Yeah, if people can refinance right now, I would. 2.25%. That's the deal. Like, the deal.
Yeah, I'm still doing the renter and the renter act, and I think I'll do that for a little while longer.
I don't think I'm going to be doing it for very much longer, to be honest. If we get a big enough place, you can get a tiny home on our property too.
I'd be a little bit of a commute.
We'll get you like a Vespa or something. You'll rock it out.
Oh yeah, that'll definitely get the ladies.
It will. That's why I said that.
Uh-huh.
No, we'll work it out. We'll figure it out. We'll get you a tiny home though. It'll be great. It'll be great. You and Garfield can live in there. You can feed him his puppies. He could have a cat loft. It would be
Yeah, well, he does all right with high places. He's more just likes windows.
A tiny home would be no higher than like your counters, really. Think about it. Like a loft in a tiny home would probably be as tall as you.
True.
So he'd be cool. You could have little kitty stairs, or you could build like a little cat, like a cat scratching post with like little ledges and stuff.
Oh yeah, going up to it, kind of little spiral.
Yeah, like a little cat spiral for like little kitty stairs. It could be Garfield stairs.
Yeah, that was actually pretty slick. I've already kind of drawn up plans for houses and whatnot, since I do have some history with it in my one of my previous lives. That's another story for another time. But no, I've always had very wild ideas for homes that, are now probably not as wild, but still sometimes. So I don't know.
Right.
I could come up with some shit.
So I just read that St. Louis rapper Huey, known for his 2007 hit "Pop, Lock and Drop It," "Pop, Lock and Drop It,"
Oh yeah.
is dead after a 12 shooting incident.
Yep.
Wow.
That was a good song.
Lots of people are dropping them late.
Pop, pop, lock it. That was the jam.
No, it was good.
It was good. Like, I think that was one of his only hits, though, right? Was he like a wonder?
Basically.
Yeah, because, okay, so Huey's Pop, Lock, and Drop It Check was a huge hit back in 2007. It spent 23 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100 chart and peaked at number 6 before earning double platinum status. I knew that song was popular, like, because I can hear it right now.
Wow, that was a long time ago, though.
Yeah, I can hear it in my head right now.
14 years.
Yeah, it was a while. He's survived by his 13-year-old daughter. He was 32. Dang, he had a kid young? Because I'm 32. So it's like, I have a 10-year-old, but I was 21, 22, I guess. So he's like 18, something like that.
Yeah, I had my daughter when I was 26.
Right. So, I mean, that's interesting. So, but that's sad. That was a good song.
Well, as I said, a lot of people that have made differences. If anybody pays attention to movies, a pretty well-known producer and director recently died, a Mr. Joel Schumacher. Director of such classics, Lost Boys, one other 80s classic, and then he produced a lot of other films. But yeah, he was pretty influential in Hollywood, and he just died last week. So yeah, a lot of people in entertainment. Apparently, I was reading today some sort of influential TikTok star in India died at the age of 16, I believe. So yeah, no, there's a lot of death going on, literally.
It really is, and people are getting sick every day. Roger Stone, I guess, has to do immediate home confinement and go to prison on the 14th of July.
Oh yeah, no, shit's going down. I don't know. There's gonna be sickness, and then you have all the the people who have been avoiding hospitals because of COVID-19 that haven't really been getting checkups. And what if they've developed something? And so that's what the new fear is, and it is a valid fear. I mean, yes, these are the same experts that said millions would be dead by now. Yes, millions have died, but definitely not the tens of millions that they're talking about.
But then there was this dumbass article that said, surprising study, urban density does not cause more COVID-19 infections, even promotes lower death rates. But then you've got them coming out tonight, relocking down Florida, relocking down Texas, putting mandatory mask mandates all over, including Washington, California, other states, North Carolina, many places, right?
Right.
But yet urban density does not cause more infections. They say the populations that are mingling together, it's associated that crowded, dense locations are associated with lower coronavirus death rate. And tonight they also said that, ICUs in Texas are overwhelmed, blah, 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 blah. But then they had a surprising breakdown of numbers that said that like 70% of the cases that were in ICU weren't COVID patients. And they even had started to take patients from Mexico who the Mexican hospitals couldn't care for because of COVID, but they're not COVID patients. So...
Yes, exactly my point. Those same experts.
Oh, Bonnie, you gotta take care of yourself. Bonnie said she cracked her ankle 10 days ago, and she won't go in to get it x-rayed. It's still black, blue, and swollen. I've been treating it myself. You should call Dr.
You better stay off that, girl.
Yeah, you should call Dr. Jackson, too, and get an appointment and talk to her about homeopathy. See what you can get. And Red always likes, what is it, Red? Comfrey wraps for broken bones.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's a good idea too. Comfrey wrap. Help get it all healed and stuck back together. And bone set is another good one. An herb that you could use. Lots of things. So there's stuff that you should use. But yeah, isn't it interesting that they say, oh, well, a whole bunch of people together, but yeah, at the same time, you're going to die. And you can't have it both ways. You either
that's what I mean. Is like they're having it both ways. They're sending all sorts of mixed signals. They don't know really what's up or what's down.
COVID. Don't go to Trump rallies because you'll get COVID, but protests with just as many people, if not more, do not cause
more. It's way more.
Yeah.
Scarlet, that some of those days down by the 3rd precinct, there was thousands.
Yeah, use comfrey in like a poultice and then wrap it around the foot, and that should help healing immensely. And you could even use it as a soak. You can use it as a foot soak. There's lots of ways that you could do that. But yeah, no, I think it's absolutely ridiculous where they're at this point, right? This is just ridiculous. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you called because she will take care of you. Arnica is always good. Arnica is very good for the bruising and the swelling. And for anti-inflammatory purposes. If you have black seed oil, it would be a very good anti-inflammatory. DMSO would also be something good because it helps relax the muscles if they're tense or torn. Also help with pain. So that's also something good. You get that from a tax store or on the internet. Maybe Amazon even. I'm sure they have it there. It's just been interesting, but yet now they're saying bars are the reason why. Now, explain this, right? Okay, so they said bars are the cause of coronavirus, right? So in Florida and Texas, they have now closed bars once again.
Correct.
But you can still drink at restaurants.
Yes.
Now, how the hell does that make sense? Because I could maybe understand their reasoning why they say this because, hold on one second. I gotta turn on my air conditioning. They say that, the alcohol is the problem. People become sloppy because they're trying to, they're drinking, and so they then don't necessarily practice social distancing afterwards, right? And so this is the reason why, social distancing, it doesn't work in these places, right? So this is what they say, right? But then how are you going to allow it at restaurants?
Well, a lot of restaurants, to be fair, do have rules where you can only have a certain amount of drinks because a lot of restaurants, if they're sit down and it's close proximity, they only give you like an hour, 2 tops to eat.
Right.
So there's a lot of weird rules in place. So I haven't tried eating out yet. I'm still doing some orders in, but mainly cooking for myself.
Yeah, that's basically what I've been doing. I've been cooking a lot more than I usually do, which has been nice. Oh, my other freezer got delivered.
That's always good.
Yeah, that happened. So that was cool. So I got even more space now to store things. I probably won't run it yet just because I don't have the first one full up. So I figure once I fill that up, then I'll plug it in and deal with the bill.
Correct.
Yeah. One thing.
Be smart. And
Yeah.
that's smart.
You have to, because, I mean, that's going to be a lot of electricity to run.
Correct.
Conditioners. Because it's been really hot this year. What the hell is going on? Last year, we had no 90-degree days. This year, we've already been like 3 weeks that have 90-degree temperatures. And we're going into another peak of 90-degree temperatures. What the hell is going on? This is like August weather, if that here.
We're going to get into the hundreds, you know, Scarlet. There's going to be some parts of the U.S. that have seen temperatures they haven't seen in hundreds of years. I almost guarantee it.
Yeah.
The planet is cooking from the outside and from the inside.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, hell, what are we supposed to do? I mean, I don't know. It's just frustrating.
Well, I'm not sure entirely, but, you know, you can either try natural methods or... I mean, for the most part, there's some simple things that always help mitigate it and help you in the long run.
True.
Like for me, I've always operated under the assumption of, say, a very low power or, say, stealth mode. And so for the most part, I don't have like lights on usually in my place. It's usually like the TV and maybe like the kitchen light, and the rest of them are off. And so first off, that saves on energy. And second of all, during the daytime, if you do that and don't have the lights on, it keeps it cooler. You draw the shades, and it's kind of like a little like protective cave of coolness. And you don't have to have your AC running the whole entire time, and you can save on the energy and whatnot. So there's a lot of different things you can try. So that's that. I mean, as far as the mental capacity for taking all sorts of shit going on in your world, now that's a different story.
Right. No, I get it. I mean, it's true. It totally is true. St. Elmo's Fire, wasn't that your jam, G?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You know, I think we're just going to have to come up with better ways to solve the problems. You know, we're just going to have to come up with better solutions, better ways of connecting, better ways of quitting the shit. We're going to have to be resourceful. We're going to have to lean on each other for food sharing. I did hear, though, one thing that was really promising, and this is probably like the last story I'll kind of lead off with before we kind of close it up for tonight. Because we're almost at our time to get out of here. So hold on. Let me go to my page. I'm going to find this article about stores that I felt was really important. So here's the article. It came from bringmethenews.com, which is a great local resource here. It literally was created by all the disgruntled journalists from all the local news media who created their own journalistic resource, which is a beautiful thing. Like,
correct.
The hatred of all the networks made them create this, right? So they have like newscasters, they got weathercasters, they've got article writers, beat journalists, like all types of stuff. They come up with good articles. I often use them. Cup Foods commits to be rebuilding its 2 riot-damaged stores. It also intends to open up temporary stores at both locations to address food insecurity. Because wasn't your store spared in your neighborhood, Tilo?
Yes. My fancy new one, for some reason, even though it wasn't under like any protective guard, survived. They only went after the gas station, the Walgreens, and then a few stores on the other side of the Ford Parkway Bridge, which is Highland St. Paul, and those were also a bank, actually 2 banks, sorry, patinas, a couple of food places. One I don't know, one was Noodles. They broke into a couple of under construction or for sale spaces and did some damage. But they left my neighborhood mostly intact. It was odd how very selective the destruction was. Let's just be honest. Like, I study patterns, and it's weird how this one was very much a significant pattern because it was banks, and even like I came across some white people at the protest that were saying, why is it all these auto zones and auto places that are getting hit?
And they're all
And
owned by Soros. Isn't that cute that they're all owned by Soros too? I just thought that was
right.
a coincidence that they're all, and even
I was like, yeah, the pattern is just way too apparent that something's going on here.
Right.
And so, because like, yeah, there should have been way more shit. There's a whole abandoned factory right next to the Walgreens
factory.
Well, didn't I talked about it one night because I passed it. Bell Technologies. Remember, you looked it up and they
yeah, we found out that they made like chemicals, like beauty chemicals.
Correct, beauty chemicals.
Right,
and so there's that whole building that they easily could have gained access because there's nobody watching it, and they could have burned that shit, and that could have been a fire and a half.
Yeah, that would have been a chemical danger. So what they were saying.
So if the intent was truly to try and burn the city down, and
take away its resources, they did a damn good job. Yeah. So they said that the grocery chains of the stores on West Broadway Avenue in North Minneapolis and Lake Street in South Minneapolis, both of which are owned by a franchisee, Jerry's Foods, which I thought that was surprising. Because, yeah, we know they used to have Jerry's Super Value and all that. So that's what those.
And they're going to get back into
franchised.
You never know.
I didn't know you could own a franchise cup. No, they said that they're owned by.
No, yes, absolutely. You can own and franchise a lot of things.
Right. So then they say will be restored after being damaged by looters and rioters. Furthermore, while construction is underway, Cub says it will open temporary community stores around 13,000 square feet to address food insecurity in the neighborhoods in these Minneapolis neighborhoods. The temporary stores, which will offer essentials including fresh produce, meat, dairy, over-the-counter medicines, and grocery items, are expected to open by July 8th on Lake Street and late July on West Broadway. Furthermore, Cub is also launching a dedicated bus service to take people from the Broadway and Lake Street stores to other full-size Cub stores in the area. You might want to utilize this, TLO, if you ever need to. If you want to go to a bigger store or use that or tell people about it, this might be something that you can help people out with. Because I think when I tell you what they're actually going to do, I think they needed to do this a long time ago, right? So what they're doing is North Minneapolis residents will be taken to a Crystal store, which is closer to me, while South Minneapolis residents will go to the Quarry store in Northeast. The free service runs immediately with buses running on the hour and returning on the half hour. There'll be a 20-rider limit per bus to adhere to social distancing, and they're also offering free grocery pickup at the Broadway and Lake Street stores for orders. And they do have the link to place them. Cub is actively involved in our communities, and it's our responsibility to roll up our sleeves and find solutions to help meet the needs of our neighbors, family, and friends while our Broadway and Lake Street stores are under construction, said Mike Steigers, Cub CEO. We know that even though these two stores are closed, life events and activities and special occasions continue to take place, and the community needs its neighborhood grocer to be providing access to essential food and grocery items. We're proud to offer a variety of options for customers to shop with Cub. Now, I hope they have WIC items at this little temporary store.
Right.
Because you know what? Through COVID, you couldn't find a lot of the WIC items. And so hopefully they'll have special WIC sections or a whole WIC tent with just WIC foods where people could just go in and get out of there with their WIC vouchers and make it easy. Target has similarly committed to reopening its riot-damaged stores, with the Uptown small format store having opened earlier this week. Oh, that's cool. You can go over to Uptown and go to Target, by the way.
I still just rock it at the downtown Target.
Oh, do you? Downtown Target don't have shit. But I bet since...
Not usually.
Well...
But when you just need basic stuff, it's not bad.
Yeah, maybe things have kind of cooled off since Corona, where like not as many people are downtown, so you can actually find stuff again.
No, there's actually way more people. Just like I said, like there is, oh man, social distancing to hell. Like swear, like it's getting thick. Sorry, but it's getting thick.
Damn.
Like there was a stabbing today. Someone died like a block away from me while I was eating my damn sushi.
Where were you at eating sushi?
PV Plaza.
Oh, right. What restaurant you go to?
I just grabbed my sushi from Hybrid Sushi. There's a Walgreens in downtown that has a little sushi place in it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the guy there, whatever they paying him, they need to pay him double because his shit's good. And he like makes it special for you if you want or if you ask him. Like he didn't have some stuff that I usually get, and he noticed it, and he was like, "Did you want your usual?" And I was like, "You know my usual?" He's like, "Yes." Spicy California rolls. I was like, "Okay," and he made them, and man, they were so delish. Like you could tell he put some effort into them, man. And it's only like $6. And you cannot find a lunch downtown, regardless of COVID, for around that money. Like, yeah, you might look out with the Subway, or you might have to go to DQ. But yeah, someone died on the bus a block away from me and my job. So it's getting thick.
It is getting thick out there. It's getting to become a damn shame, honestly. With all the shootings and all the things that have been happening lately up here, you know, people, there have been constant...
And I'm gonna tell you one thing too. The cops, they're out there.
Yeah, they're out there.
But they ain't doing shit.
No, and they haven't been doing shit since the George Floyd murder, period. They just stopped fucking policing.
They did.
What we done?
I'm not even gonna lie.
What we done? Like,
they had to do some actual policing today when the second incident happened, where I'm not sure if they were vagrants, homeless, whatnot, but a group of people decided to throw down, and somebody got their asses whooped. Let's just face it. And so the ambulance and about 6 squads showed up.
I heard on 38th Chicago tonight there was 50 versus 1.
Yep. Yeah, stuff is going down out there, folks. Like, for real. Like, they don't say shit in the news, really. But they don't want to.
No, they don't want to, because they want to keep the facade that everything's calm and cool in Minneapolis. Everything's fine. No one's fighting. Don't worry about it.
We're all getting along, and so everyone else should.
Kumbaya. And it's not fucking kumbaya.
It ain't no kumbaya.
In this bitch. Like, real life. So I don't know. We're gonna have to figure out something. We need to, put pressure on our local officials, put pressure on those who could actually change these things. And we're gonna come up with some better strategies. And we're gonna work with some community leaders and partners, as well as activism and action groups, to try to come up with an actual plan that we could try to implement between now and the end, before the election, because we're going to have to do something. There's got to be some outreach, some grassroots movement that changes what's occurring. Just bottom line. So we're going to do that. We're going to make that happen. But with that being said, we're going to wrap it up here tonight on Clarity After Dark. I thank all of you for being here with us. If you like what we do here on the Freedom Revolution Network, think about donating to us by going to www.freedomrevolutionnetwork.com, click the donate tab, and then give us your donation of whatever you can spare. We would really appreciate it. Without all of you, we cannot make Clarity After Dark or all of our other great shows here on the Freedom Revolution Network. It's not just me. There's Red with Journey into Freedom. We have a new show coming out, and it's Indigo Liberty's Ascension Manual. which will be a more spiritual meditation show that people can follow from week to week to have spiritual enlightenment. So we're going to be adding that as well. We're always looking for new hosts. So if you're interested and you're watching this and you're watching the replay, think about coming and messaging me, station manager at freedomrevolutionnetwork.com. Let me know that you want to get started. Or on the website, there is a host your own show, start a show as well. We're going to be so excited to expand things. So if you want to become a part of the network, now is the time. We're growing, we're moving, and people are starting to take notice and take hold of the Freedom Revolution Network. We also have our social media network. Please think about joining that. A lot of people are getting kicked off Facebook and Twitter and even Parler and Gab and all these new places. And we have our own private social network on the Freedom Revolution Network. Think about joining us there. We can use as many people as we can. And now we have a more private server, right? So that way we can keep in touch with you. And we can stay connected. Mark Google just had his Discord shut down. 15,000 people on his Discord. Okay? And we're supposed to actually make another video with the hashtag Mark Google shutdown because of this. And I forget what the actual hashtag was, but he wants video creators to make videos and talk about what actually his Discord channel meant. And honestly, I've been to real life meetups. You guys know I've talked about this many times on air, how I have appreciated the Mark Google Discord and how well it was done and how people were connected and there was groups for everything. And wow, they just tried to like flash me out on that one. We've talked about this. So it was important to connect people so that we could have these connections with like-minded individuals, with people who wanted to meet up after natural disasters or after things that happened in their community. And it's really funny that after all this unrest and him actually being from, Seattle, that they would shut down his Discord. And the owner of Discord said this was the most tweets that he had ever gotten in his time being on Discord was for Mark Google's fans saying that he was shut down. And so we need people to use the hashtag, bring Mark Google back, Mark Google shut down, whatever hashtag. Go look at his social media and see what hashtag he was using for his campaign. But they just removed a lifeline that people had because now every conversation we had in that Discord, gone. Everything anybody ever wrote, created, shared, there were pictures, there were, all types of stuff in there. There was Creators Corner where they were helping people who had channels get visibility. All types of places to talk about all types of things. 50 state groups where you could go meet people I met people from Minnesota and then we went on a camping trip. We did a Bible study and barbecue. Lots of different things that, it seems like they don't want those things to happen. And we've got to protect ourselves and stay connected with each other because they are trying to keep us separated. I am using Discord still. I'm not as good as posting on it as I should, and we should get back onto that. We need to kind of make a social media revamp and kind of get just back on all social media fronts.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of work. But I got to just buckle down and do it because it's worth it in the end to keep everybody updated and keep in contact with people. It is. But, it is a lot of work. So, to maintain, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, this, that. Oh, we also have a Cash App. If you guys want to donate through our Cash App, it is money symbol FR Network. And you can go to our Cash App and donate that way. So, we're in a digital world now. So we either have to tolerate digital connections and tolerate the digital realm that they put us in, so to speak, or fade to exist, I kind of feel at this point. There really just kind of is no in-between unless you want to get a group of people and take it in real life, right? It's just something that I've been noticing.
Absolutely.
Yep. So with that being said, we're going to get out of here for tonight for Clarity After Dark. I thank you all for being here with me tonight. Next week. and join us then for more information. And we're going to start having a few more interviews. We're going to start doing some more in-depth things again. But with the way things keep popping up, because I do want to dive into more of an issue that happened in Milwaukee this past week, where there was a group of reported sex traffickers who then people said it was even the police who had these like sting houses that they were running, but they were actually like sex trafficking houses, not like trap you type of houses. And they went in there, and this group of citizens went out to basically go put a citizen's arrest on like the police and take these girls and kids home. And then they got the kids out of one house and they all kind of scattered and ran away. And then they went in the house and then they burned it. But before they burned it, they took out evidence and they kind of had their rosters and their lists of like who was there, how old, this, that. And so I got to kind of go through some of these videos and watch them at length because I want to dive more into it because there's so many layers to that situation. If this was a sex trafficking house, burning it is not the thing to do when there's probably hella evidence in it. There's people who supposedly took pictures who noticed false walls and little rooms that were created for kids and just all of these like really bizarre, fucked up things, right? And if you burn it down, well, now they can't take proper evidence, right? But if it is the police, would they even take proper evidence if they're the ones running it, right?
Correct.
So apparently what they're saying is all the kids got out and got reunited with their families, not through the help of the police, but by the help of the individuals and the group, basically like the neighborhood vigilante group that came out and did this. So I want to dive more into that story and kind of figure out what I can find. Does it hold water? Does it not? Who is involved? Who are these people? Where are they now? And just that kind of issue, because if that's the case, we need to start figuring out more of what's going on, and we need to be more aware of what's happening in our neighborhoods, and we need to pay attention to our neighbors more. And not in a nosy, like I'm trying to get you in trouble way, but just in a sensing things are wrong. You know, where you could have suspicions. To where maybe if you do talk to 5 people in your neighborhood, if people actually talk to their neighbors, you could find out something like that. Because they'd be like, oh, have you seen so-and-so? And they're like, no, I haven't seen them in a while. But you know what? I saw something weird. Like they were screaming outside and then he like dragged her back in and I thought that was really weird. And they're like, oh yeah, this other time I saw, you know what I mean? So you can kind of develop a sense of character and what's going on. But people don't even talk to their neighbors anymore. They feel like, you know, that is too far apart, but they want us to come together as communities, but people don't even talk to their neighbors. Yeah, we can't keep living like this. So I want everybody to be kind to one another. I want everybody to think about it. I want you to make good choices. I want you to try to be cognizant of what is occurring around you, right? And just try to be that person. Call out Karens, hashtag call out Karens. And we need to kind of just level up into the next level of humanity and kind of be the light for people who are lost right now and kind of acting like moths to a flame. Help them before they burn themselves up. Okay? It's a good analogy because they're going through to that level where their actions are going to cause irreparable harm. So with that being said, Tila, would you like to say goodnight?
Even though I stand alone, the last one stands for all. Good night.
And from the land of 10,000 lakes and from the highest desert valley in the great American Southwest, good night, universe.